And we are live from the greatest Mecca in the Big 12 for Arizona Media Day. We got tons of players coming on today's show and everything you want to know about this team. We're going to talk about it today. So it's the AZ Wildcats podcast live from McKale in 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome on in, everybody, to the AZ Wildcats podcast. I am your host, Damon Fairall. That's my guy, Kevin Thomas. And like I said, this is the AZ Wildcats podcast, not coming to you live from PHNX HQ3. In fact, we are at HQ4. Is that what people are calling it these days? Who knows?
Big 12 HQ?
We are at McKale Center, of course, the Mecca, as Kevin said off the top. And we are so excited to be coming to you today from Arizona Basketball Media Day. We're going to have players brought on to set with us, as you can see, this third chair all day long, and we're super excited, Kevin, to be talking to a lot of these people for the first time. I think only Tobe Awaka and Anthony Delorso are going to be recurring guests on this fine. Oh yeah, I forgot about Tucson's own Evan Nelson, of course, Sal Point's own Evan Nelson. Drink, everybody at home, but nice early Sal Point mention for the people. But Kevin, how are we living? How are we feeling?
Living great. Always good to be in Tucson. I miss this city every day that I'm not in it. And it's even better when Arizona basketball is in season and we're inching ever so closer to basketball season. Arizona football has been fun. Arizona football has been awesome. But you know me, and I love talking hoop.
You do.
So we are here today to talk a little bit of hoop, and I'm very excited about that. Woke up with a smile on my face like I was in a commercial, just like, yes, this is the morning that I'm about to conquer. So very excited to be here with you, Damon. How are you doing back in your home city?
I mean, it just feels great. Feels like home. I was driving on the freeway in here, Kevin. This was actually during my Uber ride, not when you were driving me so cordially. But I was driving on the freeway, and I was looking out towards the Tucson skyline, and I was just like, man, what a city.
Mm-hmm.
What a city this place is. Miss it every day. But we are thrilled to be back here, and we're thrilled to be hanging out with everybody in this great city. We got Bryce James over here taking some media day pictures right to our left, and you're going to see a lot of Arizona basketball media, players, everybody walking in and behind our shot. You can see recurring guest Anthony Delorso walking currently right now. Going to be a great day over here on the AZ Wildcats podcast, and we appreciate everybody for being here so early in the chat. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and show your support. We do have a new supporting club member.
Yes,
Kevin.
Max, welcome to the squad. Known chatter of this podcast and of other PHNX podcasts. We appreciate your support. And if you want to get like Max, like Tom Lemke in the chat, become an elite member of this chat and become an MVP. Just $5 a month, $4.99, I believe. You get a free super chat. So it pretty much covers your super chat. And you get the elite status. You get the Wildcat hand signal bear down in the chat. You can drop at any moment. So it's definitely worth the while there, Damon. So shout out to everybody in the chat for being here today, celebrating Media Day, celebrating Arizona men's basketball with us.
Yeah, Max, please show the people what it looks like when you drop those Wildcat hand signals in the chat, because they are pretty sweet, if I do say so myself. Kevin, Kobe, what's going on, my man? Sorry about that Diamondbacks game today. I was just lamenting to Kevin my sadness regarding the Arizona Diamondbacks, but that's okay. Things aren't over. We're not letting go of the rope yet. But guys, we got some Arizona basketball to talk today. Kevin, who are you most excited to sit down with?
Well, of course, returning Australian ADO. I baked him a Lamington. I did not.
Yeah, you did. Kevin has a Ziploc Tupperware box that he brought with him. Lots of effort from my guy Kevin on the baking side of things.
Yeah, no, honestly, just excited to talk to some of the guys on this team about the year that could be, the offseason that has been, some of the improvements they're looking to make. I believe we have Dwayne Aristode coming onto the pod first today. So I'm really excited to talk about him about, first time in Tucson, first time in Arizona, making a step up to a new level of basketball for him. And there's just so many different storylines to discuss, like the physicality of this team, the level of talent on this year's roster is somewhat unheard of for a Tommy Lloyd roster. And Tommy Lloyd's a coach who has had many talented players come through this here arena, and this might be the most talented roster yet. So yeah, very excited to get a little bit of a taste of what the mindset of that locker room is heading into preseason basketball time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As I don't know if anyone could pick up that clapping going on in the background to speak to just the level of talent that this team has. That's the GOAT's son who's doing that, Kevin, and like he doesn't even figure to be like a huge piece on this team.
You know what I want to know from Dwayne Aristode? Kind of genuinely, he's a Jordan Goat guy.
Is he?
Yeah, Jordan Goat guy.
Oh,
I
that's
think.
right. Yeah, he said the.
So is that causing like a little bit of a rift in the line?
We definitely got to figure that out. Yeah,
I
how
didn't know.
like is Bryce like just like all the LeBron fans online? Is that the question?
Does he have a burner? I don't know. Probably. I
No,
would.
no chance, man. No chance. He doesn't care about things like that.
Yeah, Kevin Durant. Anyway, Damon, like you said, we're going to talk to a wide variety of players here today, and I think the media day festivities have been pretty fun so far. The hype day. What are they doing? The hype up videos over here to our left. We have Mobile Mawut screaming earlier, Jaden Bradley screaming. We're probably going to get a Bryce James scream here any moment. So if you hear someone screaming like their pet has been hurt very badly, that is just the players doing their media day videos that you will see when they hit big shots at the Jumbotron up here in McKale, Damon. And also just looking up at the McKale seats, every time I'm here, just the most beautiful arena, not only in the Big 12, maybe in the country.
Yeah, as we have our first guest stepping on over here, we got Dwayne Aristode, of course, star freshman. Good to meet you, Dwayne. Nice. Thank you for sitting down with us, my guy. We'll let you get that headset on in a second, but definitely excited to talk to, stud, star, freshman, 4-star, high 4-star, Dwayne Aristode. Maybe should have been a 5-star, we think.
Hey, that's up to them. I don't care. I'm in college basketball, man.
Yeah, it don't matter anymore, that's for sure. How is the adjustment? Because you kind of lived on more on the East Coast, right? So how has it been kind of, moving to Tucson and kind of just enduring this heat over the course of the summer?
It's been pretty okay. The first 2 days, I'm not gonna lie, I almost died. Yeah, but since that, it's been favorable because I love the heat. I'm African, my descent, so I just love the heat. That's all I can say. I love the weather. So a lot of people say they don't love it. Like Murph and me, like assistant coach, we always talk about like the weather is great, man. Why y'all complaining? Like, man, I come from a place 2 years high school. It was snowing every time, and back home, it's raining every day. That's depressed. So yeah, I can't complain. I love the weather.
Yeah, there's something to be said about feeling like the sun on your skin every day. And but you do say you almost died. What did that entail? Like what went on that means you almost died?
So before everybody was here, I was here to move in my new house, and I still thought I was in New Hampshire, so I had like 2 layers of clothes on, long pants on, and I didn't like I thought it was fake, like the way people were talking about the heat over here. So man, I was 2 hours outside just walking. No, trying to get covered like shadow and everything. It didn't help. Drenched in sweat. I think I lost like 5 pounds in like a few hours. Nah, that was not it. But my body got accustomed, so I can't complain. I'm blessed.
And you talk about, the amount of weight you lost due to sweat, right? But also people in the chat, people that watch our show have been talking about your physique and your frame all summer. You are certainly, as Bryce James lets out one hell of a scream, you are certainly not the traditional freshman basketball player, right? And we talk about the physicality of this year's Arizona basketball roster.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a real strength of this roster, that you guys can be more physical than other teams in the conference?
Most definitely. It's not, even though it's my first year in college basketball, even now, no, it's not normal to see these big guys, my age and just people like Toby and Mo. Like, we go against each other every practice. So definitely. And that's also one thing Coach Lloyd, really talks about. Like, we have to use our physicality. Like, we have a strength that we really could use. So why not use it? So yeah, definitely that.
And then, you were talking about this incoming freshman class. You mentioned that you're going up against guys that certainly are not, normal for your age of people. This freshman class is one of the most talented in the country. I believe number 2 ranked. Can you tell us a little bit about your interpretation of this incoming class? Obviously, you're a part of it. Koa Peat's a part of it. What is your impression of getting around these guys for the first time, practicing with them?
Practicing with them, they're all humble guys and great guys. They not about themselves. They're about everybody else. Talent wise, I already knew how talented they were. It's always amazing to see when on the same team with them or playing against them. Like, cause it's the real deal over here. So, man, we got a chance to win this talent. So, I'm extremely blessed to play. And like, a class like this. You know, just group of guys that are like dogs or like talented. You know, talent doesn't matter if you don't play hard. You know, effort the things you're supposed to do to win. So, but definitely blessed to be a part of it.
And then I mentioned this, the #2 recruiting class in the country, and that you're a part of that. Do you feel that you as an individual are under the radar in any way coming into this season?
Oh yeah, 100%. But you know, not being not being an asshole to it in the sense of I didn't play a whole year, so I understand. You know, end of the day, I kept developing. And, everybody here knows, I've been developing, working hard. So, eventually it's gonna show. It starts with the work you do over here. And Coach Lloyd's a great plan. But like I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. My talent will show, like I said. So I'm not even worried about that.
How is the mental side of having to sit out for a season? Because I think that probably goes a little under the radar as well in terms of just like you love basketball. This is the game you've dedicated your life to,
Yeah.
and you weren't able to get out on there on the court for a minute. So like how is that journey having to sit on the side and kind of watch?
It was the most heartbreaking moment I think of my life. I don't like to use the word depression, but like damn, like playing basketball. I've been playing basketball since I was 4. So, yeah, I think I would like to shout out my teammates at Brewster, my former teammates. Kept me company. Always looking out for me. Knowing that was gonna be my year and that was gonna be our year because I think we would have won the chip. Even though they did a great job there. But yeah. Not playing basketball for a whole year, and the AU tournament prior, I feel like I finally understood the flow of playing high school basketball here, playing basketball here in America in general. So I was ready to play the senior year, but can't take it back. Happens. But I knew eventually that if I get over this, like ain't nothing worse than this. If I get over this, I can get over anything. So, having excelled and, getting over the hump, multiple rehabs, doing this and just getting back, nah, it's hell. But like once you get over it, oh, like it's a bigger reward coming. So I'm definitely blessed that I was able to push forward and, thank God that I'm in this position now with this team.
Has that motivated you this offseason? Like the fact that you haven't been able to get out there on the court, like I'm about to bring 200% because I got a whole year in the tank that I'm just sitting on here.
I did. I say Merv this all the time. Last year was vacation time. You know, even my parents, I didn't go to my parents once during these breaks. So, I just, my mom always said, you gotta come back. Nah, last year was vacation time. Now it's work time. So, they understand. But definitely motivates me a lot more. But definitely got to stay composed, not do too much. My time will come. But like my time isn't the form as us winning. That's everybody's time. So, yeah.
And then also, you talk about like this time away from the game and how it motivates you. What skill set are you most excited to show off on the court this season?
What I'm most excited to show off,
Yeah, in terms of your personal skill set.
that I'm a multi-dimensional player that I can do anything that the coach asks me to do. Some days, you might have a different role. I might have to guard the best player. I might have to play the 4. I might have to play the 3-2. Who knows? Shoot the ball. Attack my defender, get in the paint. Dunk on people, rebound the ball. That's very crucial for us this year. I think everything basically. Whatever he asks me to do, I have to do. And just the things that help us win. That's the ultimate goal. So I think everything.
And then also, you talk about the connection with your teammates, right? You love your teammates from Brewster. I'm sure you're loving to get to know your new teammates here at Arizona.
Yeah.
One of those teammates is LeBron James's son, Bryce James.
Yes, sir.
I watched your Get to Know Me video from Arizona basketball, and if you haven't watched that, go check it out. Very fun guy.
I know what you were about to say.
You said your favorite player is Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
and that you love his book that he wrote, his
Yeah.
biography.
Mhm.
Have you talked to Bryce about that? Does he know you said that?
I don't know if he knows. I have not talked about him to him about that. I don't know if he knows. I don't know until he comes to me. But yeah, I'm gonna stand with what I stand. He's the reason I play basketball. So yeah,
If he asked you about it, are you throwing stats at him?
Man, I'm a for championship. I'm a for mentality, everything.
You're about to go to war for
Yeah.
your guy Mike.
Yeah, that's but I'm also biased. That's
Yeah.
the reason I played. So
So is he.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Dwayne Aristode. We appreciate
We
you for your
appreciate you,
time.
man. It was
Good
good
luck.
meeting you.
Appreciate you. Y'all
We'll hope
too.
to have you on again sometime soon, brother.
Yes, sir.
But great interview from our guy Dwayne Aristode, who is just completely locked in, all about hoops, right? I mean,
Yeah, 1000%.
just a dude that you could tell is just chomping at the bit to get back out there on the court. And I believe we're about to have our next guest sit down with us here.
Yeah.
And
How we
it
doing?
is
Long time no see.
our guy Anthony Delorso, who of course we had on the podcast just last week.
Yes.
ADO, we have like a leaderboard of guest hits on this podcast. I think Genesis Smith from the football team is he has 4 appearances. Reggie Geary, I'm sure has 4 appearances. You now have 2, so you're climbing the board.
I'm chasing him
quickly, man.
That's
But we are super excited to have you back on this podcast. What's kind of just this environment been like for you? How is this team different than last year's team?
This team's great. I mean, I think the ability to be coachable this year. We got a lot of new guys and a lot of guys that came in with higher ranks, and none of that let them affect their head, or they'd be able to come in big headed and think they're better. None of that's happened. So I think that's the best thing we've got going. Guys that mutually respect each other and want to help each other get better. And I think that's the best thing.
Now, I must apologize off the top of this interview. I joked to my co-host here at some point that maybe for Media Day I should bring you a Lamington, and now I think we decided that would be frowned upon. But I wanted to say at least we thought about it.
Yeah,
Remind you of home.
I would have enjoyed one.
Remind you of home a little bit, but home is far away for you, and it's
Yep.
not unlike this roster to have many other international players. Is that something that you guys feel is an advantage for you this year, having so many international players with experience overseas and a different style of basketball?
Yeah, I think, a lot of guys from similar positions, it helps you, one, get over that homesickness and everyone can kind of bond over that. And 2, obviously bring different kind of styles of play. I think that's something that is unique to, this side of basketball and college basketball is you got people that had different backgrounds, different upbringings and different coaching styles over the years. And that's just kind of molded into kind of what, Tommy wants. And that brings the best out of Arizona, I think.
Yeah, Dwayne just told us on our set that last year for him was vacation time because of his injury, but that this season or off season, I guess, that his family has been being like, hey, come back home. And he's been like, no, I'm locked in. Were you able to make a trip back home this summer? Or
Yeah, so I was very much the same last year. I didn't go home when I was transferring in, kind of same mentality of, this is a step up. I really got to kind of lock in a little bit. I don't know if I have time, but this year I did go home and it was great, apart from it being winter, but it was great going back home and seeing family and friends after a couple of years.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, your head coach is,
Yes.
known as the kind of international guy, right? When you were at Campbell and Arizona reached out to you, was that something that you knew right away, or was that something that maybe like Murph told you on the phone, like, we're kind of the international guys over here at Arizona?
No, I did know about that. Obviously, they had a lot of guys from Europe, and I knew, he kind of likes that and brings them in and likes to develop guys, and that plays right to my kind of specialty. Obviously, bringing that different style, like I spoke about, that different style of basketball, and he kind of understands that, and he values IQ, and that's something he's big on. So I think, that was a big key for me in coming here. When they called, I knew that straight away, and he explained it, and I think I cut him off and said, I already know. You don't got to explain it to me. That's how bought in I was. So, no, I love this place.
And part of what makes Tommy Lloyd such a good coach is his well-known ability to develop players once they get to Arizona. Part of your development, it's well-known, is the defensive side of the game. Can you tell our fans just how players go about improving on that side of the ball, and what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so obviously defensively coming in, there's, step up from mid-major, physicality. I think physicality is one of the biggest things that I noticed, and being able to cover up things. I think coaches sometimes can get caught up in technicalities and footwork and hands, and a lot of it comes down to effort and physicality. And if you just want it more, and that will and drive is something that really pushes. So for me this offseason, getting stronger, getting bigger, and also buying into, hey, this is where you can make your money. This is where you can get a stop and then go on transition and get a dunk or something. So that's something that I've really bought into, and I think it's been great, adding that weight, and it's really helped me.
And then a real quick technical side of things, I know that like some players struggle once they add a bunch of muscle mass to maintain their elite level of shooting. What your arguably best skill is the shooting the ball. How have you managed that? Has that been something you've kept in mind this offseason, or is that something that you kind of cross that bridge when you get to it?
Yeah, I kind of was all in on, gaining weight and getting stronger from the minute we lost to Duke. I basically told them and they agreed, and we got straight to it. I didn't really think about what are the negatives going to be. And, I was already in a way that I wasn't at the point to worry about the negatives. So I kind of just crossed that bridge when I got to it. And since putting on all this weight, I haven't had one negative thing to say. I mean, I feel the best I've ever felt in my body. I feel as strong as ever, as balanced as ever. My shot feels easier. You know, a lot of people say, I'm not going to be able to shoot anymore. I'm going to be too strong and clunky. And I haven't felt anything but the opposite. I mean, I literally feel best I've ever felt in my life.
The range increasing?
Absolutely. Range increasing.
I mean,
the ball comes off easier. I feel like I barely got to use my legs anymore. You know, that's kind of how it is. It's just everything feels easier.
Yeah, this program, off-season program, obviously run by Chris Rounds. Can you just speak to how intensive that process can get?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy. He's nothing but the best. I mean, nothing but bought into your development and getting you better. There's never any personal vendetta to make fun of you or embarrass you. It's always a solid goal of how can we get you better. And, you know, you're not meant to go to the gym, and it's not meant to be looking pretty and beautiful, and it's meant to be ugly. It's meant to be a place where you fail and you keep going and you show up the next day and you get better. And that's something that he really instilled in me, because I think people can get embarrassed by that. Oh, I can't lift as much as so-and-so or whatever. And that's not what it is about. It's your own journey and your own road. And that's what I did this offseason. He's been with me every day and every step. He actually jumped in and did it with me. He started this whole new regimen with me and, you know, got me through it. And it's helped both of us, I think.
That's awesome. So Chris Rounds is and Anthony Delorso are just hitting sets together at the gym. Like, hey, what time we meeting up at?
Literally, I mean, we'd go every day, same time, and
love it.
He told me, "Hey, we're going to do this new thing I've never done," and he goes, "Well, I'm not going to tell someone to do something I haven't done." So he jumped in and he did it with me, and you know, the rest is history.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely
leadership.
love that. Yeah,
that's leadership right there from Chris Rounds. And now, as a returning player, you're part of that leadership core, I'll say, in a way, a veteran of McKale's hallways, right? How do you go about mentoring young players versus also competing for a spot, right? Because Dwayne Aristode's coming into this roster, Ivan Kchenkhov's coming into this roster. They play your position in a lot of ways. Obviously, you can be multidimensional, but how do you go about mentoring and also competing at the same time?
I think it's just the respect of the game. You know, we're all here for one mission, and that's a national title. And when it's game day, we're all on the same team. So if I wasn't playing at my absolute hardest and they weren't playing at their absolute hardest, pushing each other, I think that'd be a disservice to the game. So, you know, I try and implement, if I see things that I can teach them or things that I can use from my experience, I try and tell them. I don't have any vendetta to not tell them, to see them do negative. I would never do that to anyone. And I don't think they would do that to me. I think everyone's here for one goal, and that's work as hard as you can, get everyone better, and we'll see results, and everyone eats, because when you win, everyone eats. When you lose, no one eats.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best thing about team sports, is the most important thing is always winning.
Yeah, it's a great mentality to have. Before we get you out of here, I did want to ask you and get some clarification. So I think, you know, when you came over here, especially with how long your name is with the apostrophe, everybody wanted to acronym it up. Like ADO was very popular. Yep. It still is. But I feel like, you know, you hear Tommy talk, you hear the team talk, everybody says Deli. Yep. So do you mind ADO? Do you prefer Deli? Like, what's the nickname, you know, kind of equation here?
It's really always been Deli from the moment of my college career, and that's kind of what everyone calls me. ADO, I think, was generated from media and outside, but no one in here calls me ADO. Everyone knows me as Deli. I don't think people even know my first name. It's just Deli. I go around saying I'm Deli, so.
Are we like on deli terms?
Oh yeah,
now?
of course.
All right, sweet. All right, so we can stop
second
calling him ADO.
Second time around is definitely Deli.
Yeah, no more ADO for us over here on the AZ Wildcats podcast. Deli from here on forth, but we appreciate you, Deli, for hopping on with us twice in 1 week, man.
I know, it's great.
It's a grind. Yeah, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for hopping on, and you know, we'll kind of you know, digress that interview. We appreciate you, brother. You're good to go. Kevin, what was anything that stuck out to you about that one there?
That I should have brought the Lamington.
Yeah,
that was note number one. But no, in all you know, actuality, like the physicality of Anthony Delorso increasing and not costing him his shooting efficiency, I think it only backs up and vindicates my take that Anthony Delorso is going to be a changed basketball player in 2025, and we're not, you know, maybe we might, but we're not going to have to the same level of complaint about his defense or the same level of complaint about his playing time in these really tight, tough physical matchups, right? I have a belief that ADO is going to look just at home in the Big 12 next year. And is he going to be the most bulked up player on the court? No. Is he going to have the coolest looking beard? Probably. But I think that his maintenance of his shooting efficiency while also being able to navigate screens better on both ends, be able to be a better, more competent defender, only keeps him on the court for longer and gives Arizona a more lethal shooter for more seconds of the game. So I'm pretty encouraged by what we just heard from Anthony Delorso. And plus, Damon, Well, I'll actually go ahead. What are your biggest takeaways before we can divulge a little bit?
I was just going to say that Ben Berger here in the chat asks us to ask Deli about the beard, to get some information about the beard. We did have Deli on last week. We did ask about the beard. I didn't want to be here in person asking twice in 1 week about the beard, being like, look, what are these freaks care so much about my beard for?
And I'm awfully close to the beard, so I felt like if I had to ask that question, I'm like staring at it, and that's weird.
I could have used that routine, though. Like, whatever the routine is there, that would have been nice.
Castor oil and a roller. We can get into that later.
Yeah.
Ivan Kchenkov, welcome to the AZ Wildcats podcast.
Hello, fellas.
How you doing?
Good to meet you, sir. Just make sure you
go ahead and fold that.
Put this down right by the mount there.
There you go. Perfect. There you go.
Ivan Kchenkov, of course, via Bayern Munich, via Germany. We are thrilled to have you on the AZ Wildcats podcast. Thrilled to have you in Tucson. How has that journey from Europe to Tucson in a very short amount of time, I will add, how has that gone for you thus far?
It was definitely a long flight here. That's my second time being in America, and yeah, I really like it. It's a little bit hot here compared to Germany, but I really like it so far.
Now, you know, your trip over here, I know that you said in your press conference that it doesn't really matter how many teams pursued you because you're at Arizona now. First of all, me and Damon and all our fans loved that answer. But when coming over from EuroLeague, you said that you were hungry for playing time.
Yes.
You could not go 2 years without a major role on a basketball team.
Exactly.
How is that hunger impacting your game coming into this year? Are you just ready to prove yourself at this stage?
I think I don't have to prove myself. I just gonna play my game, and it will prove itself. So I just, you know, want to get a chance, and I'm sure I'm gonna get it here. So, you know, that's it.
And a huge reason you can get on the court for as many minutes as I'm sure you're being indicated that you may is your versatility of your game. You're 3-and-D. You can also do many things on offense. What do you think is going to shine most this upcoming year to Arizona basketball fans about your skill set?
Definitely my 3-point shot, my physicality, and just my calmness. The experience I have already with ex-college players. Just knowing the game. For sure, it's a little different game here than in Europe, but just I think the experience with older players.
Yeah, when we first walked into McKale Center here, you were the first player we got a peek at, and I looked at my guy Kevin and I said, Ivan Kchenkov, that's a big boy. Is that like just natural size, or have you worked on, adding a bunch of strength to your frame? Given that you were playing for one of the best basketball teams in all of Europe, like I'm sure they have a great strength and conditioning program over there. What's kind of gone more into that, in your opinion?
Sure. Yeah, of course. I wanted to play there. So what's the first thing as a young player you have to do on a pro team? You have to guard. So if you're not strong and if you're not quick, you cannot play because you cannot guard anybody. So that was like my first thing I had to do. And yeah, it transfers over, and then here, the weight coach is really good, and I've been working hard. It's like the first time in my career where I had like 2-3 months of really like off season, like preseason, where I can work on myself, and yeah, I made some big leaps.
Now, in terms of, that actual professional grind of being on the road, I know you've spoken about Devin Booker. No, not that Devin Booker, but Devin Booker, and how he was like your big brother on the road, teaching you what to do, what not to do, where to go, where not to go.
Yeah.
Is that experience on these long Big 12 road trips going to really be something you can lean on and feel like, this is not really anything? I've been through something like this before.
Yeah, I think so. And I also think it's just, part of the grind. It's just how basketball works. Also in the NBA, it's going to be like, I don't know, weekly, if not even like 10, 15 days trips. So I got to get used to it. And I already am. We had like weekly trips when we go Sunday to Sunday and come back at like 2 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, I know how to handle it.
Our chat wants me to ask you about the food here in Tucson compared to the food in Germany. Can you give a kind of like a comparison from your experience here in Tucson? Have you had what's called a Sonoran hot dog?
No, I don't know what that is yet.
The team failed you, my friend. The team's failed you. I'm not going to lie.
But it's a lot of Mexican food, a lot of spicy food. I'm not a big fan of spicy food. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, I like the food here. Got a lot of good spots. Yeah. But
a real long one.
Yeah, we got a real long one from Arnold over there. A good yell. But yeah, you were saying
Yeah,
going?
I like the food here. Everything else that's not spicy, but also a lot of fast food options. I'm not gonna lie. In Germany, it's a little bit easier to eat healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Welcome to
No,
America,
definitely.
brother. But
Yeah.
that is, I think, a good transition here because I wanted to ask you about why make the move to America because we've already talked about it. Bayern Munich, one of the biggest basketball clubs in all of Europe. I'm sure they develop a lot of players. Send a lot of players to the National Basketball Association as well. What went into the decision for you to say Arizona's best for my development?
I think how how Arizona's gonna use me. So I had Elias Harris he was playing at Gonzaga for Tommy. So he told me good things about Tommy. And I also didn't play a lot last year. So I just said, look, I need to play. And I think this is like the best next step I could do. It's the nearest step to the NBA. That's my ultimate goal. So I think that just makes sense.
Now, you talk about Tommy Lloyd, and I believe Murph was your initial contact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but had you heard at all about Tommy Lloyd's expertise with international recruiting? We asked Anthony Delorso, and he had some sort of knowledge about Tommy Lloyd's expertise in the international realm. But did that at all play a factor in you arriving in Arizona?
I just knew that he's recruiting a lot of European players or international players, and like I said, Elias is definitely a big help. He told me really a lot of good things, and just encouraged me to look into it.
And then obviously you come from a family of athletes as well. And now I know that you didn't start playing basketball; you started swimming at first, and then had to get pushed onto the basketball court. But can you kind of compare your game to what your parents could do as athletes, and how that maybe influences what you do on the basketball court?
Actually, when my parents were playing, there were no cameras yet, so not a lot of games that I could watch. But my pop said he was never really athletic. My mom said she was really athletic and quick. So I probably got the height of my pops and the athleticism from my mom. I would say that.
How big, I guess, is that Soviet Union FIBA Basketball World Cup in 1974? Because I think from our perspective, like, there's always the Russia versus America in sports kind of rivalry, right? Like two of the best sporting countries in the world. And then, your father's team, the Soviet Union team at the time, takes home that championship. Does that mean everything in your household?
We definitely make a couple jokes about it. Because my pops was only like 21 or something years old. He didn't play too much, but still had a big role. Um, I don't know. It just hangs in the air, I guess. It's just I don't know if I say something, and my mom was like, "Hey, how do you talk to your world champion like that?" Or something like that. But no, it's just it's a different time. It's a long time ago. But it's definitely a big accomplishment for my pops, and I wish I could watch the games.
Go out and win a world, or not, I guess a world, but a national championship this year, and you can do a little bit of back talk. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I have something you don't have. We can weigh this back and forth all day.
Yep.
But also, we've talked about with multiple players on this team at this point, the level of physicality that you guys have as a roster. I noticed that watching your tape that you are an extremely physical player.
Mhm.
Is that somewhere you think you can really showcase your ability on the court this year with your physicality on both ends?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And then also that physicality enables you to be even more versatile. The competition at the wing position on this team must be insane. Can you kind of give us a window into what practices are like with all these athletic, versatile two-way wings?
Yeah, it's really physical. Coaches are not calling fouls, so we can really play really physical. He wants us to play really aggressive, so we're just going at it, and killing each other basically.
I love
love
to hear
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely love it. This is the last question from me. It is totally not important, and it definitely probably is not important for anybody in the chat. But I am a Chelsea fan. I watched the Champions League game today.
Oh.
If you are like playing for Bayern's basketball team, does that make you root for their football team as well, their soccer team?
Of course, yeah. Especially if I'm from there, yeah.
So,
I'll say so.
like, were you at all tuned into that game today?
No, I don't watch it. I just if somebody would ask this team or this team, I would say of course Bayern. But I'm not a big soccer fan.
Well, it still counts as a W for you. Ivan Kchenkov 1, Damon Dog 0. But we appreciate you, Ivan. It was great meeting you. We'll have to have you on again sometime.
Yes, of course.
Good luck this season.
Yeah, thank you, my guy. And another great interview from our guy Ivan Kchenkov, who has a lot to say. Like I think that like one of the I feel like upsets of the entire offseason. Like
No, definitely, man. I think like when you ask him about like, being back home and his influence from his parents and just how he landed here, I think that's when you get, the real Ivan, I'll say.
Mhm.
But I also think that we need to get the man a Sonoran dog. This
We
is a
absolutely-
travesty. We have, leaders on this team like Evan Nelson who are from this great city. And how has Evan Nelson not gotten a Sonoran dog in front of Ivan Kchenkov? Maybe he's trying to keep him cut for the season. I respect that.
maybe we're gonna have to ask him.
But you think that man can't burn off one Sonoran hot dog
Yeah,
in 3 hours? I think he can. And also, in terms of takeaways, before we have another great guest coming on this podcast sitting here next to us, is the level, and I think Kobe said it in the chat, the level of locked in that each of these guys are just locked in. They're focused on basketball. They're
Totally.
not focused on the rankings. They're not focused on the ratings. They're not focused on Florida coming up November 3rd. Well, they are focused on that, but they're not like, overthinking it, right? This is just, how can we develop to be the best version of each of ourselves and then come together as a team and dominate in the Big 12 conference? And I think that is when you get really special teams, that are all on the same page, that are all motivated by the same exact goal. And that's what really has me excited about this year. It seems like you have a lot of very talented, like-minded players on this basketball team.
I'm with you there, Kevin. We're going to get into our next guest here right around the corner. But first, let's hit our first ad break of the day on the AZ Wildcats podcast. No? Okay, we're actually not going to do that. Go back.
Just kidding.
Sorry about
Just
that.
kidding.
Yeah, that's a nice little whoop
Koa Peat,
on them.
welcome to the
But
pod. Welcome to the
good
pod.
to see you, Koa. We did talk to you when we were out at the spring football showcase, when you were out there hanging out, just having made your commitment, I believe, at the time. A little bit more settled in now. Your brother was visiting during the spring showcase. How did that kind of all come together?
I think honestly, just I wasn't committed at that time. Was
I think you just committed,
Oh, I just
like
committed?
a week or two before that. Yeah.
Oh, I think just the situation down here was good for him, and going down there, talking to the coaches that weekend, I think it really helped him make his decision to come down here to Tucson and to be here, also to be here with me, and just both of us doing our different things. I think it's good to just have my brother down here with me and just have some family down here with me, and it's been great.
And it's nice because it brings that home feel down south of Tucson. And you're not very far.
Yeah.
You're not from very far from Tucson. But what does it mean to you to represent your state, albeit just a little bit south in Tucson?
Nah, it means a lot. When I had the Arizona on my chest, I'm gonna go out there and play as hard as I can. Because I'm representing my home state, and I've always done that at Perry. I stayed at Perry for 4 years and represented my school, and now I'm here in Tucson. So I'm excited for this year, and I'm excited to come here and play my first game in McKale. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Last year, Delhi in the tournament versus Oregon popped the Arizona on the
Yeah.
chest, Derek Williams style. And I don't know. I mean, maybe we could get you to get one of those in.
Nah, for sure. I mean, if I'm having a day, I might have to do that for sure.
Yeah,
That
that
in
would.
your back pocket.
Yeah, I
for,
got
when
y'all.
you have a
Appreciate y'all.
thunderous dunk there.
As a man from Arizona myself, that would just fire me up
Yes, sir.
to my gills. I gotta say, like a guy that is born and raised Arizona, loves this state, wants to represent this state. I think that's a really cool type of mentality to have, because I think that not to come after anybody else, but I think in college basketball we've lost a little bit of that, right? Where it's a lot of like, well, where can I go make the most money, or where can I go play for maybe the biggest program, albeit this is one of them. But like it seemed like it was important to represent your community,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, for sure. That definitely went into my decision on coming down here to Arizona, but also when I was going through my recruiting process, just like the best place for me to develop as a player, the best coaching system for me, I thought that was Arizona. So that ultimately came down to me making my decision to come here in Tucson.
Now, part of this, decision to come down to Tucson, I heard you mention it when you spoke to Saul Bookman, who works with us, when you were at the Team USA trials. You mentioned the stage, right?
Mhm.
Being able to play in games that matter all season. You are a winner. You've won at every level you've ever played at. One of the most accomplished high school players of all time. I'm not trying to blow smoke, but what I am trying to get at is, how does that high level of success going to translate to college, and does it really affect your level of adjustment, I'll say, to the college ranks?
I think honestly, just staying in the gym and just staying grounded. If I keep working hard, I feel like I come out here and perform. If I'm ready, if I'm prepared, I'm gonna come out here and perform. And I'm excited for this season, and I'm gonna just keep getting better each and every day. And I think we're just gonna keep getting better each and every day as a team. And I'm excited to see how far this team could go.
Yeah, I mean, he mentions that FIBA World Cup U19. You guys took home the gold. Obviously, you were one of the top performers. What did you learn about yourself as a player, being out there playing with such high level talent?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in that stage and just playing with other good players, you got to find your niche. And I feel like I did that on every USA team I played with. So um, I think that went in my decision in staying at Perry all 4 years too. Like, I get to go in the summer and play with the best players in the country, and then I get to come back and be the man on my team. So just learning how to play with other good players has helped me with my development.
Tommy Lloyd is going to be helping you with your development this year on the basketball court. What are some of the advantages you've identified as already now you've worked with Tommy over the course of the summer, got some hands-on coaching from him? First of all, what was that like, and do you think that's going to be a big advantage for you this season?
I think it definitely helped me playing with him this summer. Coming back here to Arizona now and having workouts, I just kind of like learned his system, learned his coaching style, and I think that's helped me develop into a player here at Arizona, especially just knowing like his coaching style and knowing like my role in the offense and the defense, and I think it's really helped me.
And at the Team USA trials, like Damon mentioned, you were one of the top dogs there, maybe the top dog there with AJ DeBansa. And now you guys were also making TikToks. Maybe you guys were best friends. I don't know. But what was the relationship with AJ DeBansa like?
No, that's my guy for sure. He was my roommate throughout the whole USA, so that's my boy. I'm excited to play him this year. It's gonna be fun.
You learn anything about his game maybe that you could take into that BYU Arizona matchup later this season? Like, ooh, I got that pointer on him. Taking some notes.
I mean, he's a really good player, so just playing against him every day in practice helped me get better, and I think it helped him get better playing against me every day in practice, and I'm excited for that matchup.
What about Tommy Lloyd? Did you learn anything? Not like obviously you learned from Tommy Lloyd, no doubt about it. But did you learn anything about Tommy Lloyd, the person? Maybe something funny just from kind of being around him a lot.
Yeah, I think I just learned how genuine, how good of a person he is off the court. Just going through that process. You're away from your family, so you got to become close with those guys that are on the team with you. So talking to Lloyd off the court has really helped me and just made me even happier about my decision coming down here to Tucson, just knowing how good of a person he is. I think he's a better person than he is a coach.
Obviously, you headline this incoming freshman class. There's a deep, deep freshman class coming into this next year's roster. What has that been like, the adjustment working with these new guys, and what are some of your first impressions of the freshmen?
It's been great. We got really good freshmen that came in with me. Dwayne Aristode, he's a really good shooter, really good knockdown shooter, 3-and-D type of guy, athletic guy. Brayden, a combo guard. I feel like he could do everything on the court. Bryce is a really good shooter. Ivan, 3-and-D type of guy. He's gonna knock down big shots. And then you got McKale and CD that are really good developing players, and I think they help us a lot in practice, and they're gonna get their shot.
Now, sorry, Kevin, you were not able to participate in the McDonald's All-American game, and I'm sure that was difficult. Being a dream, I'm sure your entire life to suit up in that game, but you chose valuing playing for your high school team and winning in the playoffs over that. So I think that makes you such a unique player in person, in my opinion, and I think that Arizona fans are incredibly excited about that in particular. What was it like, though, missing out on that McDonald's All-American game, and how did you deal with the mental aspect of that?
I mean, it was tough. Obviously, you're seeing the other good players get notoriety out of that event. But, I mean, I wasn't really tripping about it too much because I set out a goal my freshman year to win 4 state championships, and I was able to achieve that. And I missed the Hoop Summit and McDonald's, and I wasn't really mad about it, honestly. I still got to go to those events and still get to experience off the court. So, I mean, it was great for me, and I was blessed to even be on McDonald's and Nike Hoop Summit teams.
That hand getting a little heavy?
Nah, I'm good now. I'm good now. For sure.
We put those away in the lockbox. It's time to win that national championship ring these days in Tucson. But, we are so excited to have you here. How is, your combination of frame and athleticism really going to, help this team reach its ceiling, its ultimate goal?
I think that's going to help for sure, defensively, obviously, and I think offensively I'm becoming more of a versatile player, and I feel like I'm versatile on offense and defense, and I'm going to do whatever the team needs me to do to win games. That's all I want to do is win.
Now, I watched you compete with a broken hand in the state championship and win the whole damn thing. How does, is that like a mentality? Was that related to your goal, or is that just who you are? It doesn't matter if you have a knock, you want to play, you want to be out there helping your team win.
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I would have regretted it if I didn't play that game, honestly. Play those 2 games, the semifinals and the state championship game. I would have regretted it, and I honestly probably wouldn't be able to go to sleep knowing that if I didn't play in these games, we would have lost. You know what I mean? Like, it was a goal I set out my freshman year, and Coach Dwayne means a lot to me. That team meant a lot to me. Those are my brothers, so I couldn't not play.
Do you have any relationship with the other Perry players that, have kind of come in and out of the program recently? We even have Dylan Anderson, who, of course, attended here for a couple of seasons. And, you definitely have, the Williams brothers as well. Are those your guys?
Yeah, for sure. I got to play with really good players while I was at Perry, Dylan Anderson, Cody Williams, and then seeing the players that came out of there like Marcus Howard, Jordan Howard, Jalen Williams, those pros. And I've talked to them a lot. And I've got to know them throughout the years, and I think just like their processes and how they viewed the game, they always come back and talk to us, and they would come to our practices and talk to us. So it's kind of like a brotherhood in the family at Perry, and I'm happy again that I stayed there all 4 years and I get to go back, and that's my home.
And I'll get you out of here on this. One of the things that I told Damon about when I came back from the state championship game, where you already alluded to you were playing injured, was you were still I'm not maybe just as aggressive, but pretty damn aggressive considering you were playing with a broken hand. How aggressive do you look to be this upcoming season in the Big 12, and is it going to jump off the screen to fans?
I think, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm going to go out there, play my game. I'm going to always be aggressive and confident player. And if I put the work in and I know I'm prepared, I feel like if I go out there and play my game, I'll be able to do good things.
Yeah, you strike me as a very, serious basketball-oriented person. What does Koa Peat do off the court in his like downtime and to do for fun?
Honestly, just be chilling, bro. I'll be at the crib, playing the game, hanging out. I'll be on 2K.
Okay,
I'm the best 2K player on
okay.
the team. You can ask him. I'm best 2K player.
Like it's not even close?
I mean, guys are good. Like Brayden's good. I think it's me and Brayden. We're 1 and 2, 1A, 1B. But nobody else. Like Jaden Bradley, when he gets on this podcast, ask him about me. Ask him about it.
Wow.
Ask him about
Wow. What a budding rivalry of Jaden Bradley and Koa Peat on the 2K streets. I mean, that's going to be – you guys could stream that and people will tune in.
Nah, for sure. They need to.
Yeah.
At least 2.
Yeah,
At
you
least
got
2
two
would
right
tune
here,
in, yeah.
maybe 3, 4, I don't know. But
Yeah.
we would tune in. We appreciate you, Koa. Thank you so much
Yes,
for
sir.
hopping on with
Thank
us
you.
today. Means the world, man.
Yes, sir.
And we'll have to have you on again sometime
Thank
soon.
you. You guys
Yeah,
have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
absolutely.
Good luck this season.
Have a good one, man.
That is Koa Peat, and as Damon said, I mean, just absolute beef over 2K. Who would have thought? We
I
were
love
just
it.
talking about how this team has such great chemistry, and also we have great chemistry with our sponsors that we're gonna, get to right now on the AZ Wildcats podcast. Don't go anywhere. That is that sweet, sweet sound of the ad music, and you
This
see
ad
it.
music rips.
Yeah, this ad music is fire. I'm not gonna lie. But Damon has one on his head right now, repping on the McKale floor a branded Bills, the most beautiful headwear in the entire game, and you can get 15% off your first order with code BBPHNX. I feel like I'm doing like a go to sleep video with this music, but BBPHNX code for 15% off your first order of the most stylish, most comfortable way to elevate your brand if you have one at home, or just rep your Arizona Wildcats, rep PHNX, do whatever you want to do with our friends over at Branded Bills. They got the best headwear in the game.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this music is just groovy, brother. It really, really is. But let's talk about another one of our fine sponsors. Let's talk about Rally House. Guys, I was taking a trip to the Arizona bookstore earlier today. I saw a bunch of gear that they have on Rally House, but the thing about Rally House is you can get it for a discounted price.
Yeah.
You can take advantage of their intro email offer and get that like 15% off on your first order. It's just there's no reason to be paying full price when you have Rally House right there in front of you. There's 4 Valley locations all across the great, Valley area. I'm sorry, or is there 3 Valley locations? Yeah,
Tempe, Mesa, and Glendale.
Tempe, Mesa, and
Check 'em out.
Glendale. I added a 4th one. Hopefully there's a 4th one soon, but
It could be your house.
it could be your house. We got 3 Valley locations to check out all across East, Central, and West Valley. And every time you visit a Rally House, you're guaranteed to find something new and unique that fits your, team that you're trying to represent. Guys, Rally House has the absolute best apparel in the business when it comes to any type of team apparel. You're not going to be going to the store like maybe you would be at a mall, and all of a sudden, it's all of your rivals' teams that are just locked and loaded on the shelves. We all know how big of a struggle that can be in the state of Arizona at times. Rally House, they take that away. They only represent Arizona teams. And that is why they are our favorite. Find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at www.rallyhouse.com today.
And we're back to the pod. We are
We are.
back to the pod. It has been a great show so far, and we are not finished yet. Job's not finished. Job's not finished, to say another legend, Damon.
Job's never finished, Kevin.
Because we got Mo Krivas coming on.
We
the show.
do.
How we doing, big man?
We might need a camera adjustment on this one here with Mo Krivas. No, we're good. We're good.
Oh, we're all good.
I mean, that's
We're
beautiful.
just the best.
Yeah,
that's just what we do.
Mo, we were definitely, when setting this camera shot, we were kind of accounting for you. We were
Yeah.
like, we had her stand straight up and down right in where that chair would be. We were like, we're gonna have to make sure that we get this thing height coordinated for our guy. But you obviously are you've been here in the program for a couple years now. You've been a part of center rotations. What is that like, and how does that either help your game or just kind of give you that rest to fully maximize your capabilities?
At the moment, I definitely thought it's like tough, and I thought that like, oh, I need to play more. But
as I understand now, it helped a lot because I saw like how like guys like Umar like play almost the whole game and deal like with all the things on the course. So I think it helped a lot.
Now, you did obviously miss time with that injury, and something me and Damon have been speculating on all summer is just how much you learned about the game of basketball while being away from actually being actively playing.
Yeah.
Was that one of the emphasis for you this offseason was just learning the game of basketball, learning Tommy Lloyd's scheme to the best of your ability?
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say only off season, just the whole last season. I mean, I was like on the sideline almost all of the practices and just tried to like learn from the guys how they play, what Tommy says, what other coaches says, how like we would go to Big 12 games, how we like analyze opponents. So I definitely think it helped a lot.
Yeah, we've been talking to Delhi. We've been talking to who was the other? Did we have another international player on today? Why am I
Yes.
blanking?
Ivan
Kharchenkov, about Tommy Lloyd being the international whisperer, specifically kind of the international big man whisperer. Did
Yeah.
you know about that reputation when you committed to the University of Arizona?
Yeah, because Domantas Sabonis was playing when Tommy was in Gonzaga and Tubalis was here, so I definitely knew where I'm going to and that I can trust it.
Yeah.
Tommy Lloyd has also been known as a bit of an international player whisperer. Have you, been able to help acclimate some of the international players to the city of Tucson? You've been here for a little bit now. Has that been part of your experience this offseason?
I wouldn't say that it's like my role, but I mean, if we talk, like I give some advices, like some spots or something like that.
And then also, obviously, Tommy Lloyd is going to be a huge part of your development this season. What are some of the aspects of your game that you've been working on that you really want to showcase for the fans at home?
I would say just being like a bigger presence in the defense for sure. I've been working on maximizing my defensive potential. I've been working on shooting the ball and just being like more strong when I get the ball and just finishing way well.
Yeah.
Like way better.
We talk about the center rotation between you and Tobe Awaka that this team currently has. You guys are very different players. Do you think that that helps you guys when you are out there on the court?
Yeah, I think it's definitely harder for other teams to adjust because, for example, I go on the court. They have, for example, to play one defensive scheme. Then Tobe goes in the court. He puts like pressure on the boards, and I think it's hard for teams to adjust.
Can you guys play together?
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it as well. They talked about rebounding as being a big point of emphasis this season, physicality, rebounding. Do you feel like that's going to be somewhere you take an improvement this next season, is the rebounding side of things? I know you said you wanted to be a bigger presence defensively.
Yeah, I would say I think it will be like a big emphasis for sure this season. I mean, in the practices, I've been trying to like you said, put emphasis on it, and we'll see how it goes.
You mentioned the kind of the shooting aspect of things a little bit. I think that a lot of Arizona fans would probably be pretty surprised to hear that. Are you like, is that like kind of like a pick and pop type of situation that you've been working on this offseason?
Or just a spot up shot, mostly just making like the shot more like reliable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've seen some pretty good mid range out of you. Absolutely. So I feel like, you have that shooting touch. Does that translate when you kind of, bring that range out a little bit more?
We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. I think, Mo Krivas, huge role to play on next year's team. We are really excited to watch you all season long and just kind of how this thing can unfold. It feels like this is really your first true like opportunity to kind of like get, like probably live the college dream that you kind of envisioned, right? Because last season was very tough with the injury. Is this feel like kind of a fresh start for you coming into your third season?
Yeah, I feel really excited for the team and for myself. Like the all practices we did, what will it bring to us? Yeah, as you said, like last season was hard, but yeah, I'm really excited for this season.
And now, obviously, you have a new set of guards helping you out. Jaden Bradley returning, but Brayden Burries incoming. How has your relationship and dynamic been with your guards? Because we kind of, to an extent, a big is only as good as their guards because you got to get the ball from somebody, right? So how have you been working with the new set of guards you got in the backcourt?
I think we're doing well. Like every practice, working on the game and just putting that trust in between each other, and I think it's going well.
Has anyone surprised you on this roster thus far that like maybe a new addition that you maybe, you know, weren't expecting them to be this good this fast?
I would say just like the whole all of the new guys, like I didn't expect that they will come to every practice like that competitive and bring the energy, so that was definitely like a good surprise.
When you first saw Koa Peat, Dwayne Aristode, and Ivan Kchenkov, were you like, check the birth certificate? Were you asking about, are they really freshmen? Because they don't look like your average freshman. Is that something that you noticed when you met them as well?
Yeah, they definitely look strong, but I never had that thought. But yeah, I agree with you.
Now, obviously, Tommy Lloyd is the head of this program, and he brings players in, brings players out. There's been a lot of player movement in the era of NIL. This was a very crowded room in the center position this offseason. How important was it for you this offseason to stay at Arizona for your own development?
I think it was like great choice for me because now I know like all the program. I know how Tommy is good with big guys and that how much they get better after their like first and second season. So I think it was a big key to stay here.
You mentioned to us that in your recruitment that, you know, you knew about Tommy's reputation and it somewhat, you know, made the decision easy for you. Is that something that you know, you're, you know, kind of like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to struggle with the way to say this. Is that it? No, scrap it. We'll scrap it. We'll throw it to the side.
Listen, like I said earlier, we've talked to multiple international players on this team. There's a level of homesickness that comes with that. Like I said earlier, you've been through that. What are some of the ways you dealt with homesickness when you landed here in Tucson?
When I was in Lithuania, I moved to other city when I was like 13 to play basketball, so it wasn't a big shock for me. But I would just say to like keep in touch with like with my family, like talk to them, talk to the friends, and spend a lot of time with the team. That's like the easiest thing to do, and yeah, it helped a lot.
Love to hear it. He is Mo Krivas of Arizona basketball. We appreciate you for joining us today,
Thank you.
Mo.
Thank you, Mo Krivas.
Thank you.
Have to have you on the show again sometime soon. And you know what? I did remember my question now, unfortunately. But that's what professional podcasters do. So I was going to ask essentially was, you know, he kind of implied like it was always Arizona or nothing. And was that the case?
Yeah. Well, I think it
seemed like
it sounded like he just didn't want to restart, right? Like you miss all year with an injury last year, and then this upcoming season, sure, you had the opportunity to leave, but you'd be restarting at your new place and coming off of a year-long layoff. It's not like he was in the flow of a season and, you know, was absolutely on fire, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, do I want to stay? Do I want to go? He was, I feel like, kind of put in a position where this is the best for his development because it can be hard to restart. We talked about it on multiple shows in relation to multiple sports. Like one of the biggest consequences of the transfer portal era is like players not putting their development first, right? And I think you have a lot of players on this Arizona men's basketball team that do that exact thing. They put their development first. And I think Mo Krivas is a good example of that because he had every opportunity to not be sitting next to us on this show today and being sitting next to some other podcast for some other school. But, you know,
that remembers their questions.
Who knows? You never know. You might be on a timeline where they don't have any questions. I don't know. But yeah, like I think that is something I took away from that specific interview. That's something I took away from that interview, just in terms of it felt like he feels like he's developing at a good rate here, and he did not want to restart that development somewhere else. So we keep talking about it, but these players are locked in on this school. They're locked in on this coaching staff and each other. And so, yeah, very, very excited about Mo Krivas holding it down under the basket this year.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. And we will hit our last break here on the AZ Wildcats podcast. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
It is chicken and pickle, folks.
Wow.
Make chicken and pickle. Evan Nelson, ever heard chicken and pickle?
What's going on, my guy?
How are you doing, Evan Nelson? But yeah, like I said, Make Chicken and Pickle your go-to spot for food, great fun, and everything like that. They have indoor and outdoor pickleball courts, great food as well. I'm sure they also sell pickles in some variety. Family-friendly fun awaits. Visit chickenandpickle.com to plan your visit today.
Yeah, absolutely. Visit Chicken and Pickle. And also, if you're buying tickets, there's no other place to do it than our friends at Game Time. Guys, we know college football just started up, and if there's any place to buy tickets, it is the Game Time app. Here's why they're my favorite. They have the all-in price tool, so you don't get these ticketing fees at the very end. They show you what your seat is going to look like from the seat that you're sitting in, so that you don't show up to the stadium and all of a sudden you have an obstructed view. And they also just have the best interface in all of ticketing. It's not even close. We all know ticketing apps can be kind of fidgety. Game Time is not like that at all. I think my favorite feature, though, Kevin, is their price match guarantee, which ensures that if somebody on another ticketing platform is selling that same ticket for less, Game Time is going to make sure that they credit you 110% of the difference. Head on over to gametime.co or download their free app today and check out the newest prices on college football tickets. Today, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
And you know, one thing that you can do with Game Time as we return here to the pod, one thing you can do is buy tickets for Arizona men's basketball and come see this guy, Evan Nelson, hit your screens this winter and fall. Evan Nelson, how are we doing? Didn't get to quite shake your hand properly.
Good, how are
we
you?
were doing some shilling. But you welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to Tucson, as you are, you know, a Tucson native. I guess we start out off here. What does it mean for you to be not only back on this podcast, but back in your home city?
Yeah, I mean, both mean a lot. No, seriously. I mean, I remember the first time coming on. It was a long time ago now. I think May. So
Yeah, time flies.
time totally flies, and no, it's good to be back. Like I said,
You talked to us about kind of your role on this team and, you know, approaching the offseason as a guy that, you know, sets by example and is just like a real leader in this locker room. How did that go from your perspective?
yeah. So far, I think spot on, pretty spot on. Like I said, just trying to show up, work as hard as I can every day, and be a good role model for the younger guys, and then try to push the guys who are returners to work as hard as they can too every day, which we've done a good job of pushing each other, going at each other a lot. So yeah, I like where we're at.
We're going to talk about more basketball, Damon, but I'm sitting next to him and I can't get Ivan Kchenkhov's answer to my question out of my head. I asked Ivan earlier, has he ever had a Sonoran dog? And he said no.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'll
going to
fix
lie.
that.
You seem like a great guy. I put that squarely right here in front of you. You're the Tucson leader on this team. We got to get Ivan a Sonoran dog. And I hear the health, you know, thing. You got to stay healthy. You got to stay cut for the season. Season's coming up. But if you tell me Ivan Kchenkov can't metabolize a Sonoran dog in the hour, we're talking about. I want to hit the books. Talk science.
No, you're right. You're right. I got to do a better job.
That's got to be part of your leadership role is bringing the Tucson to the people as well.
It does. It does. So by the end of this weekend, he'll have had a Sonoran dog, and whoever else has it, I bet CD's going to have a Sonoran dog. We're going to get Deli a Sonoran dog. He's probably had one, though. He's been here for a minute.
Yeah.
Everybody, all the freshmen, Dwayne, these guys are going to have gone. You know what? I'm going to throw in dessert, too. We're going to get a spa, though. We're going to do it real.
Wow.
We're going to do it good.
That's special. What's your spot if you had to pick one?
For Sonoran dog?
Yeah.
My cousin told me this spot, El Teo, was the spot to go to. I think it's on 12th. But my spot, man, there's this food truck on, I don't even know where it's at, but it's called Ruiz, and then there's What Canelo, obviously. One of those has got to be good.
Yeah, they're all good if we're being completely honest. But one thing that, you know, you've told us, Evan, a lot is that you know, you want to take on this leadership role with this team. And I feel like that's very selfless of you. Everybody, you know, would sit at home and be like, man, like this dude just wants to help facilitate success for everybody else. But what does on-court success look like for Evan Nelson in 2025, 2026?
Well, winning. If I didn't play 1 minute and we, you know, went as far as we could in March Madness and hopefully win a national championship, hell, I'm very happy. On-court success is really just doing whatever the team needs me to do. I mean, I can make threes at a high level. I can pass the ball, and then I can be disruptive defensively. But whatever the team needs me to do is what I'm going to hopefully do for us to win. So,
And then also our chat, our beloved chat, leave a like if you're in this chat right now and you love Evan Nelson. They want me to ask you about this court. As a Tucson native, does this mean something? Does it just hit a little different for you?
yeah, I love it, man. I love the logo over there. It looks really cool. I remember my first time shooting here, man. We had a practice during the camps, and some kid, I didn't know anybody was watching. Some kid, well, they were, but watching me. One kid was like, "You made like 23s in a row. we counted. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was just locked in. But no, it does mean a lot to be in McKale, man. And the lighting, the rafters, seeing all the names up there, seeing the new logo. Nothing like it.
Did everyone else on the team appreciate it as much as you, or were you like fanboying out about it and everybody else is just kind of like, dude, it's a
Nah, I think other people probably care more than me. Like, I didn't even know we were gonna get a new court. Dwayne Aristode was like, "Yo, y'all gotta vote for this court. Like, this is the one I need to get." I'm like, I'm happy it came. I wouldn't have. I didn't vote. I think it was on social media, and I don't really stay on that too much. But no, these guys were all involved, and they all voted. I'm pretty sure. So,
wow.
yeah.
Some of us may have voted twice, and when I say some of us, maybe I'm talking about myself a little bit from our podcast
Is this the
account.
one?
Yeah, this is the one. I committed voter fraud, but hey, I got what I wanted at the end of the day. So I think that's pretty much the important part. Evan Nelson, we appreciate you, man. Another great appearance on this fine program, and we will be thrilled to have you on again next time.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother.
Tucson native, hometown hero, Evan Nelson. Welcome back to the pod for sure, right? I mean, we're just racking up the return guests on today's show, Damon. We might have to call Genesis Smith and see if he feels some type of way about us doing
I
this.
should have asked Evan about that too, because just like Delhi, like that's 2, and you're fast approaching 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're 1 away from being 1 away here, Kevin.
1 away from being a top 5.
Wow,
That's crazy. That's crazy to think about. And
Raymond, you take that back. How dare you, sir?
As Raymond, for our audio listeners, Raymond's saying Sonoran hot dogs are overrated, and I don't know, I can't speak for everybody. They probably got some people with some hot takes in here, but that might be the hottest take of the day. You know what I mean? And W says the right court won, and I think
it did.
so. I think so.
I mean, I'm out here looking at it right now, and it is special, Kevin.
For the record, not the court I picked, but for the record, the court I'm extremely happy that got picked. I think accountability, hand up, it's important. I was wrong about the court. This is the best option for the court.
Not the court you picked, but the court that we deserved.
Yeah, it's like what was it, Batman? Not the hero we wanted, but the hero we deserved, or whatever the hell that saying is. Deborah Owens says we can win the championship in the chat. And if you honestly come out of this show feeling anything other than Arizona is going to be one of the best teams in the Big 12, if not the country, I feel like you're kind of not watching the same show I'm doing right now.
Kevin, I tweeted about it when Field of 68, who is notoriously pretty low on Arizona, I feel like most of the time.
Interesting.
Posted their preseason top 25 rankings. They put Arizona 17th. I find that to be extremely low, like laughably low. Am I wrong in thinking that? Like this team is, no question in my mind, going to spend majority of their time in the top 10 of the AP poll next season.
I sure hope so. They have the talent to do it. They have the coaching to do it. I think coming into this season, and like I said to somebody on Twitter today, Damon and I are going to do like so much more basketball preview as the season gets closer. We're pretty locked in on football right now, but off the top of my head, I don't think I could get to 11 teams, 11 rosters that are better than Arizona's, and that's being extremely conservative.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like Arizona's just not given the same grace as the other top programs when it comes to bringing in elite freshman classes. Yeah. Like, when Duke brings in an elite freshman class, it's like, well, these guys are number 1. Yeah. But when Arizona does it, it's like, well, you can't trust freshmen. Yeah. But
you can't
this
trust Tobe Awaka.
You can't trust Tobe Awaka, who is, of course, not a freshman. He is an upperclassman. And Tobe, it is great to have you back on the show. Second time appearance on here. A lot of second-time appearances for people. We had Delhi get his second appearance. We've now had Evan Nelson get his second appearance, and now you're at 2 as well. So kind of a fight at the top here in terms of who's come on the podcast the most.
That's good stuff. I appreciate y'all having me again.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you back on this fine program, Tobe. But I was doing some research on Evan Maya, which is a very popular college basketball analytics website, like maybe the top dog. And they have you as the number 2 rebounder in the entire country going into next season.
Oh, wow.
What does that mean to you to hear something like that?
It means a lot. It means I have to go prove it again this season. You know what I mean? It's something I take pride in. And, I try to help my team in any fashion, and rebounding happens to be the biggest one. So, yeah, just ready to go prove that.
Physicality is one of the main talking points from you guys that we're hearing about this upcoming year's team. you're one of the most physical players in the country, right? Like coming into this season, have you been able to help some of the freshmen acclimate to say, hey, this is what the Big 12 is going to feel like. This is what's going to be like. I believe multiple players named you as their welcome to college basketball moment for boxing them out or shoving them down. Or not in a mean way, but just being you, being a bull in a china shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So has that kind of been your role, trying to acclimate players to the Big 12 conference?
They asked me that in the press conference too, but nah, it was just really me just playing and hooping, knowing the guys off the court. They're great people, they're great humans, and I knew that they were going to come in and work hard. But obviously, when you come in and you're new to a program, you're new to college, there's a certain level that you might not be used to when it comes to high school. So making that transition can be tough and can be hard. But I guess being able to help them in any way, I'm glad to do it.
And you made that transition from Tennessee to Arizona last season. Now you have a full year under Tommy Lloyd in Arizona under your belt. How do you look to grow coming into this next year and really showcase the full Tobe Awaka?
Just be more assertive. I think just be more confident offensively and defensively. I think during the summer and early in the season, as we go into preseason, there's not really going to be much of a figuring out stage. It'll be more working on my game and trying to see how I can implement that within the offense better. I think when I first got here, there was definitely a buffering period, learning the system, learning the techniques and things of that nature. So now just kind of being able to, be comfortable, be confident, know where you're going. I can kind of move with a full head of steam.
I talked to Mo Krivas when he was on set with us about kind of the balance of having to be like a good teammate versus competing for that spot, right? So how has that gone for you?
It's been great. I think when we practice, we don't really see each other as opponents or anything like that. We're teammates. At the end of the day, we're all going to be wearing the same jersey, sitting on the same bench. So we know that our goal is to make each other better in every which way. So if I take a play off, I'm not helping Mo. If Mo takes a play off, he's not helping me to the best of his ability. So we kind of see it as that kind of give and take.
And now when we're talking about that give and take, we were also talking to Mo Krivas about the versatility that you two offer in terms of making opponents face different looks, right? Do you think that is going to help Arizona's front court this season, being able to throw so many looks, whether it be you at the 4, at the 5, whether it be Koa Peat, the 3, 4, or 5, right? You have Mo Krivas stuffing it up down there. Like, how versatile do you think this group really could be next year?
Very versatile. I think coach is going to have fun sort of mixing and matching who he wants to play. According to personnel, we might play one way. With another team, we might play another way. So I think it's going to be very dynamic, and I think it's going to give us, greater possibility to win with that versatility.
And real quick, this front court specifically looks a lot different than last year's in terms of the skill sets that you're bringing to the table. When you look at what this front court could be next year, how do you see, what do you think the biggest strength could be for you guys as a front court unit?
I think just rim pressure, putting pressure on the rim, and the amount of force that we play with. If you have, Mo rim running, me trailing, Koa Peat on the wing, that's tough. And then let's say a shot goes up, Deli shoots a shot, and then all three of us are crashing. That's a lot of force. That's a lot of, foul pressure. So it'll be fun to see, what that looks like against an opponent.
We talked, kind of about that idea of competition between you and Mo, but should we expect to see some Twin Towers looks this season between the two of you?
I hope so. I love playing with Mo. We've tested it out during practice, and it's been fun. Feeding him in the post, him rim running, me trailing, or the opposite. So yeah, I think that combination on the court is going to be really fun to watch.
Who's guarding you guys in that circumstance? Is CD Gay welcome to America, brother? Tobe Awaka and Mo Krivas Twin Towers look coming right at you?
Yeah. It's been CD and Koa kind of on the end of that. But they hold their own obviously, and they've been fun to practice and play with. So yeah, I think as a unit we've all just been kind of getting better as a result of playing with each other.
A year under Tommy Lloyd, what have you learned about Coach?
He's a very high, emotionally intelligent person. He's great at reading players and kind of understanding who they are and what makes them tick. And he's really more about the process than, the final outcome. He understands that, to get to that, goal, there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises and, sort of adversity along the way. But he's a guy that's willing to stay with you on that path if you keep your head. So that's something I've learned about him, and I definitely appreciate about him.
You mentioned to us that, you were going to work on your spacing big time this offseason. How has that development gone for you?
It's been going well. I think obviously doing it in workouts is one thing, but translating it to practice is another thing. So I've been trying to find my spots, find shots on the perimeter from 3-point range as much as possible within the flow of the offense. So I think just being intentional about that and kind of going into practice every day with that mindset of getting better and sort of working on my weaknesses and not sort of relying on my strengths. I think that's been key.
Something that I was calling for as a basketball fan last year was more high-low game from you guys. You mentioned it there in your answer a couple of questions ago, and it had my brain lighting up because I'm really excited to see that. Is that something we can look forward to a little bit more high-low between the bigs on this team?
Yeah, I think so. I think that just kind of reiterates that rim pressure I was talking about before. I think, again, with Koa running the floor, with him trailing, with Mo running the floor, with me running the floor, those high-low opportunities are going to be, present. And, let's say that, it's not a high-low. We swing it to the wing, we throw it into the post, that big dive, that's another opportunity right there as well. So, yeah, I think the high-low is going to be back for sure.
And then also last year, you kind of single-handedly kept Arizona in that game against Oregon with your effort, tenacity, and rebounding, right? It was really a huge part of that momentum that helped you guys overcome that adversity.
That was a spiritual experience, by the way.
It truly was. We were watching it just like this. But, what did you learn from last year's March Madness run, and how is that motivating you to go win a national championship this year?
I think overall, March Madness is kind of what you play for. That's what you put the work in for. It's not really the goal of winning the championship as high, sort of on the totem pole as that is, but it's sort of the experience, being able to play in front of a hype crowd against great talent in the country, for the ability to win a championship. There's nothing more that you want.
Yeah, my guy Kevin here, he mentioned it, he being a hoop head himself. I'm a little bit more of a gridiron guy, if I'm giving myself a little bit of a corny moniker. Shout out to my guy right here. But you are someone that the Arizona fan base has jokingly been like, can we get him on the damn football field? Can we get him rushing the passer? Have you heard that plenty of times?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of about that. I've seen Coach Brennan in the food hall for athletes a few times. So yeah, he's made a few passing jokes too.
Just kind of like what's he say? Like, hey, Tobe, if you want, it's just an option. It's all I'm saying.
I mean, I think the most common, remark is, you look great in pads, but yeah, people have thrown it, out there. I don't know.
You're a ball player.
Yeah. I'm a hooper at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to see success for Arizona football, but obviously I'm on Arizona basketball too. So
yeah, and this team has been a lot better this season. So we haven't needed you as much, but last season we really could have used some Tobe Awaka rushing the passer. But we appreciate you popping on again, Tobe. It was great talking to you, and we can't wait for till next time, my guy.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Another great interview from our guy Tobe Awaka. And
shout out Owen.
Wow.
Remember, new MVP. That's for you, Owen. And AZ Cats G saying welcome with the bear down Wildcat hand signal. That's the beauty of this chat I love so much.
I think Owen could be potentially a D-backs fan, but we're gonna take it anyways. How we doing?
We're gonna take that.
Mobile Mawat on set. How we doing, my guy? How's America treated you so far?
Should have been good. Can't complain.
Yeah, you've been here for a couple years though, right?
Yeah.
You were playing some high school ball, some later years ball before coming to Arizona, correct?
Yeah, I was down in New York for sure. I was down in the Bronx.
How has that transition been? Because that's cross country.
Yeah, I mean it's been great, man. My teammates and coaches are doing a great job. Trying to help me situate down here in Arizona. Yeah, can't even ask for more.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I'm sure that you're very happy to be not far from the Phoenix Suns arena where Kaman Maliwatch is going to be playing this season. What's your, I know to an extent what your relationship is with him, but can you kind of explain that? And do you have any plans to hang out already? Were you setting that in stone?
Yeah, sure. I was just down there with him over the break we had.
It was his birthday recently, right?
Yeah, it was his birthday recently. Yeah, but yeah, to be honest, I'll say. Sorry, what was the question again?
Just your relationship with Kaman and
my relationship with Kaman, it dates back from when we started playing ball. We started. Basically, I would say started a little later than me, but yeah, we basically started playing ball together. We had our coach down in Uganda, Waldang, with the Solid Skills Sports Academy. He got us working and all, and he got us opportunities to go down to the NBA Academy Africa. He went there. I followed him like 2 months after, and was down at the academy for about 2 years before I left him. And, came down to New York, and then he left like the next year and came to Duke. Yeah, we've been pretty much everywhere with him. Building that relationship.
Have you guys talked about how just damn cool it is that the two of you are so close to one another that you guys can just, on a whim, just, kind of drive up the freeway and go hang out?
Yeah, it's surreal, man. It's crazy, to be honest. Actually, during the draft, it was we didn't think about it until when we was taking the pictures, the family portraits and everything. I was like, "Yo, you in Phoenix?" I was like, "I'm in Tucson." I was like, "Oh."
That's great. No, that is great. And what does
Yeah.
what does it mean to represent your country on this kind of a stage?
Nah, it's amazing. It's amazing to be representing South Sudan is the highest level of basketball, college basketball. Not too many of us make it down here, and being down here, it's like a big blessing. And I get to represent a whole country, even a continent. Yeah, it's super. I couldn't even ask for more.
Outside of, sorry to cut you off. Outside of Come On Molly Watch, who are some of your other South Sudanese like not idols, but people that you look up to that have influenced you on your journey to America for basketball?
It starts with the great Walding. Walding, he played with the Chicago
course.
Bulls. Yeah, he always looked out for us. He used to come down to the NBA Academy to come and talk to us, make sure make us feel like there's someone there for us. Always standing up for us. Showing us the way. I got a couple guys on the national team too, like some Nuni Omad, Mariel Shayok, Kwani, Peter Jock. Yeah, it's a bunch of them. They really be helping me.
Yeah, the game's really growing in
Yeah.
that area of
It
the world
is.
for sure. And I believe South Sudan was in the Olympics this
Yeah.
past year or 2 years, right? Well,
Yeah.
they played the Team USA, did they not?
Yeah, they did. We almost beat Team USA. We lost by 2, I think.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a really good game, and you guys got some size for sure. You included. You're definitely got some height and a big frame on you. What's kind of your game? If you had to explain it to Arizona fans, how would you describe it?
My game, I'll say I'll stretch the floor. I can shoot the three pretty good, and I'm a pretty good defender. I can defend probably 2 to 5. Yeah, my defense upside, helps me play the game, and yeah, I'll say that mostly those. And I'll say I'm a natural born leader. Yeah, if given the opportunity to do that, I'll for sure lead. Show my leadership skills for sure.
And it's interesting to hear you say that, right? Natural born leader. Being one of the younger and less experienced in the domestic side of ball here on this roster, how are you going to showcase that leadership? Is that something you're looking to showcase, or is it just going to be letting your play do the talking this season?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's, I can show, during the practices, helping my guys, helping them up,
I mean, we
Sure.
saw the screaming and clapping ability over there. I mean, it was top tier.
Yeah, just showing that I'm always, gonna be down there for them, no matter what, the situation, the case, I'm always gonna be there for them, That's just a way of, I feel like that's a way I can show my leadership. Yeah, to be honest.
When you were doing that over there with the clapping and the yelling, and everybody has had their turn. I think you were first, maybe.
Yeah.
So you kind of had to break the ice there. But when you did your yell, everybody, all the other players on the team, kind of turned over and yeah, Mobile. What was that about?
Nah, I mean, it's just, it's just a hype thing we have, they're just playing around.
Has being a part of this roster like helped you like not be as homesick in a way? Like, and do you get homesick at all? I know, like Damon said, you've been over here for a little bit now.
Yeah.
Do you still get any of that inclination of missing home?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we human, I'll definitely get homesick here and there. But, my teammates and my coaching staff, they really did a great job with that. I don't really be thinking about home like that. It's like home away from home for me, I told them, like, the other time we had a meeting, this is family to me. Like,
I have maybe a shocking development for you, Mobile.
Yeah.
Most of our chat is not from South Sudan.
yeah.
Can you maybe explain a little bit about South Sudan and what you think of when you think of your country?
South Sudan has gentle, kind people, I would say. We have, a lot of things that go down there. We have great wildlife, we have the Great Nile River, passes through South Sudan. I'm pretty sure that's something you guys know
It
about.
is, yes.
Yeah, the Great Nile River. And, it's just a vibrant, good, peaceful, country, I can say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What is that travel experience like? Because I'm sure that is a brutal flight to and from America.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but, if
Especially
you-
for a guy like this.
Yeah, dude, you got to have that first class. I guarantee it. But is there what's the like how many hours is that?
Probably like 20
Oh.
hours, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, because like I feel like the aspect that we don't think of a lot is because when people travel in America, oftentimes they're traveling still in the northern hemisphere, whereas
Yeah.
Africa, you have to not only go this way, but you also have to go down as well. So it adds a ton of time to it. But yeah, that is a brutal travel schedule. Were you able to make it back home at all this off season? Or?
No, I haven't really, but I hope to, in the future for sure. That's something I look forward to. But for now, I just go take care of business. What
Absolutely.
it is, and hope for the best.
What's it like having a guy like Evan Nelson who, like is from this city? Like this means everything to him. You're obviously like, you're coming from Africa and you obviously know a lot about the college basketball world and the landscape of it, but he knows everything about this program. Does that kind of is that infectious? Do you guys feel that?
Yeah.
Kind of radiating off of him?
Yeah, for sure. We see it on and off the court. From him taking us, for the different food spots. Me, CD, Dwayne taking us around town. Showing us the different food spots that we can eat from. And on the court too. He shows great leadership skills. Of him being a point guard, and just that's overall, man. Evan Nelson's a great guy overall. Yeah.
Evan Nelson is a great guy, but he did admit that he does have a flaw.
What was that?
He has not gotten you what is called a Sonoran hot dog yet.
Oh.
And we've set him on a mission, so I think you can expect a very delicious hot dog in your future at some point.
I look forward to that for sure.
Yeah, he said he was going to take he was like, I got to take all the international guys and show them what a Sonoran hot dog is all about.
Yes,
so
my first time hearing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then also, before we get you out of here, your relationship with Coach Tommy Lloyd,
Yeah.
right? How has that been going so far? What's your first impression of Coach Lloyd?
Great person. I love Coach Lloyd. Yeah, I couldn't ask for a better coach than Coach Lloyd. He takes his time to teach me, show me the different development areas where I need to develop, and really focuses on those. Yeah, I couldn't ask for a better coach, to be honest.
When you committed to Arizona, was Tommy Lloyd's reputation as an international recruiter, was that made clear to you?
Yeah, that was really big on my side too, because you can see from the international bigs that's been out here, Umar Balo, Christian Coloco, mentioned but a few, that had really great success. So why not me? Yeah.
Absolutely. McKale Tommy, a great appearance on the AZ Wildcats podcast, my guy. We look forward to talking to you again sometime soon.
For sure. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Great meeting you, brother.
Great, for sure.
As McKale Khan, and also, a person that was technically supposed to be on this pod a lot sooner. I DM'd him when he committed to Arizona, and the only reason he didn't make it on the pod was because of that dreaded red tape. Because before he got over, back from when he was traveling to Tucson,
yeah,
the team was kind of like, we're gonna have you do media, but let's get into Tucson first. Let's maybe meet Tommy Lloyd in person before you do any media and all that good stuff. But yeah.
What's going on? We got Jaden Bradley hopping on set. You're welcome to sit down right now. This is a little bit impromptu because we weren't exactly sure we were going to get Jaden Bradley, but we are fired up about it.
Jaden Bradley not coming on the show today, but Jaden Bradley, by the grace of McKale Center, has arrived on the show today, and we're very happy about it because we do have a lot of questions for one of the most senior returning guards on this year's team. I think we should start with that backcourt. Right, you have been the head of that backcourt for years now as well. Even at your time at Alabama, you showed promise running an offense there. What has your relationship been like with Brayden Burries thus far, and what can we kind of expect from that dynamic?
Brayden's a great player. Not your typical point guard. 6'5", 6'6", strong. Can shoot it, can get downhill at will. So I'm excited. We've been playing against each other, all the time in practice. So just being next to him, and giving other teams problem, I can't wait.
Another freshman on this year's team who has named you his mentor in a lot of ways, and this must be a crazy kind of a star-crossed thing as a basketball player yourself to now be the mentor to LeBron James' son, Bryce James. He named you as his mentor. What is that relationship like, and what is your first impressions of Bryce James?
Bryce is a great off the court he's a great guy. On the court, he's very coachable. Willing to learn. So. Any tools I can give him, and anybody else, I'm happy to give him, and I'm seeing the growth, and in his game, getting more confident, and then when I leave here, and if they're still here, I want to, leave a good, impact, on their game. So,
when you came over here, Jaden, you were coming off the bench your first season. Now you are the starting point guard at Point Guard U. What does that mean to you?
Man, it's amazing. Just seeing, Coach Murph does a great job of, telling us the history and the people that came before us. And, even on our bench, we got Jason Gardner. And, I had to really look into his highlights. He was a problem. And so just being a part of that Point Guard U, I'm just very excited.
Yeah, and Evan Nelson, I'm sure, keeps you accountable on all that stuff too, because that guy is locked in on Arizona basketball history.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, he's definitely, he probably knows probably more than Coach Murph. They can battle, but excited to have Ev, on the team as well.
Pardon me if this is a bit of a complicated question, but last year your nickname for the team was the Gritty Boys, right? And I think me and Damon talked about it, how you guys embodied that every game, even through the games like K-State where things were a slog, a struggle, lots of adversity to overcome that. What did last year's gritty attitude teach you about this year's team, which I think is a lot more versatile, differently skilled. Obviously, last year was a very talented team as well, but it's gonna look different this year.
For sure.
So how are you bringing that Gritty Boys mentality to whatever we're gonna call the 2025 team?
Yeah, we definitely got to figure out the name, but we can still carry that gritty attitude, and this schedule that we have is going to be gritty. From top to bottom, and we got to come off. We came out a little slow last year, so we know the adjustments that how not to come out. So excited for this year and the schedule that we have, and it's going to be tough, even from non-conference play to conference play. So I'm excited to see how we do versus this great schedule that we have.
You kind of mentioned it there, but is there kind of more urgency early on in the season to be like, we can't start off the way we started off last season?
No, for sure. It's definitely gonna, it's gonna hurt you, in the long run if you start off so like that, kind of with your March Madness seeding and all that, and your Tier 1 wins, your Tier 1, 2 wins, and all that stuff. So, in the long run, we wanna, have these wins under our belt, but not only for that, just our confidence wise heading into conference play, we want to have all the confidence in the world, so we have a chance to win, Big 12 regular and tournament championship as well.
Right, and the chat loves you as well. All our fans love Jaden Bradley. But one of the things that they're saying in this chat is that you are a Tucson legend because of what you've done on the basketball court. But I think that what part of what makes you this way with the fan base is your leadership role as being the point guard, right? Being through a run like March Madness last year, a non-conference like you had last year, how are you going to help guide the freshmen on this year's team? Because you got Florida right out the gate. I know you have 2 exhibition games before that, but November 3rd, Florida's coming, right? So how are you going to help the guys like Koa Peat, Brayden Burries that haven't played this level before? I know they played at this high level elsewhere, but not really in college basketball. What would your advice to them? What is that going to be, and how are you guiding them through that?
Just continue to be them. They're here for a reason. Coach loves their games and figure they can help us win a championship. But just telling them it's going to be tough. There's going to be downs. As long with the ups, and just treat these expedition games like real games. And so when we step on the court and the lights are on, you're used to it. So just trying to get everybody ready for that, and excited to see what we all can do together.
Now, I'm probably going to bring up something that you have no awareness of, and this is something that, like, me and him, like, this is our job to talk about it, but I'm just putting it out in the ether. I was recently scouring the web. I saw, like, a top 10 backcourts list going into next season. They even did, like, 7 honorable mentions. No Arizona Wildcats logo anywhere to be found on that. I think if you ask most people in this chat, me and Kevin, we'd say Jaden Bradley, Brayden Burries. That looks pretty damn good to us. I mean, do you take like offense to that kind of stuff? I know Noah Fafita and Seth Dagey of the football team all offseason long, they told us that they were taking every list that disrespected them and putting it in their back pocket to use as motivation. Is that in any way similar, or do you just not really care?
I mean, I didn't even see that list until you just brought it up, but I feel like we definitely should be on there. But us not being on there, gonna use that as fuel to our fire, and kind of prove to everybody that we deserve to be on that list, and we gotta earn it. It's not just gonna be handed out to you. This list can change kind of week after week. So you talk to Brayden and talk to everybody else. We put our head down and work. We really don't worry about what the net says, what the social media platforms say, but we know what goes on behind the scenes, and what we got to do to be great on the court.
Do you feel like you've been underrated at all, kind of going into this season? Because I think for us, like, we watched last year and we were like, man, Jaden Bradley is the most consistent player on this team. Every game gives you almost the exact same game, just elite defense, controlling the tempo. Like, you're the same guy. You're the Mr. Consistency. Do you feel like you're going under the radar going into this year?
I definitely feel like I'm an underrated player, but I don't look at the social media platforms. Like I said, I go in and handle my business, as always, and whatever my team needs that night to win the game, whether that's scoring, if I got to go and scoring, if not, I'm gonna come in and play defense. I'm gonna do whatever it takes, and it might not look pretty on the stat sheet, but as long as we're winning and my teammates got it going, I'd rather that than myself going. So I'm just happy to win and see my teammates win as well.
Obviously, like the role of a true point guard is kind of a dying art in the modern basketball. I feel like in a lot of ways, I feel like you are still very close to that. In a lot of ways, you want to get your teammates going first, like you just alluded to. Is that something that you do purposefully? And I guess my real question is, how seriously do you take the role as being the point guard?
I feel like just something naturally I do. I like I said earlier, I feed off my teammates' energy. I like to see them going, and that kind of gets me going. It's better than me scoring. I'd rather come off, throw a lob and see a Koa dunk on somebody. It's gonna get me going, get me excited. So when everybody else is going, it's easier for you to kind of get going as well. So I kind of look at that way.
And then you've also played with multiple pro NBA players during your time here at Arizona, Caleb Love, Carter Bryant, to name a couple. And you also yourself have gone through that NBA draft process. What did you learn about your game and yourself through that process that you're going to carry this season?
Just it's a different level up there. I definitely got a lot more ways to go and stuff to improve upon on my game, and I got friends like you said and teammates I play with that are at that level, so I can get that advice and get that feedback, and just to see what I need to improve on going into my my senior season. My main goal is definitely the NBA, but while I'm here, I want to win, do what I can do to help Tucson bring back this national championship.
And I got to bring this comment up from Kenyon Lewis here in the chat, because Uno and 2K have been a huge contingency point on this team. I think we had Koa Peat earlier that was saying that him and Brayden Burries are the best, and that
he said
ask
you
about him.
He said ask Bradley about me playing 2K.
Wait, who said that?
Koa.
Koa.
All right, so Koa in the park, he cheats. I don't know what he does.
He's a cheese player. He's cheese.
He cheeses. Like,
wow.
he knows how to dribble. But ask, did Brayden come on yet? Oh, he's not here. He's not here. But next time you talk to Brayden, we played at the tailgate. We played 2K. We played Play Now. Ask him what happened.
Okay. And then also, Kenyon wanted to know about.
It's KJ.
Oh, it is KJ. It is KJ Lewis.
KJ?
Yeah, it is.
We're
KJ.
using government names.
Well, I mean, the YouTube is using government name. Whoever set up that account was using government names. But KJ Lewis wants me to ask you about Uno.
I'm not even capping. You can ask anybody in here. I'm the best Uno player ever to step foot on earth.
Wow.
It's different strategies, and it's not cheating. Just different strategies. You can go upon it. I put everybody on to we call it bluffing. So say you got 2 cards left, right? I put down a wild card. I got a blue, but I'm gonna change the color to yellow, because you're gonna change it from yellow, but you might change it blue. So I'm just teaching them different strategies and teaching them ways how to win.
It's funny because Danny Gonzalez, the defensive coordinator of the U of A football team, was just talking the other day about how his family is going to war over Uno. I mean, this is some serious stuff.
For sure. Yeah, I'm about to send him. We about to get in a group chat, and I'm gonna send it to him so we can get a game in.
Yeah, because he is not happy. He is not happy with you. Oh my God, Cap is the reaction.
Yeah, we're about to get a game in, and I'm about to show y'all who won in 5 minutes. Coming back.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
We'll be here. One last question before we get you out of here. We've talked about Tucson to a lot of people that have come on this podcast today, a lot of the players on this team. You are from the East Coast, coming out to the West Coast. What was your first impression of Arizona, and what does Tucson mean to you?
Man, it's different. I'm from Rochester, New York. It's snowing. It's probably snowing there right now, but this heat. But other than that, I love it here. It's different on the West Coast. The people, the atmosphere, the food. I just appreciate the hospitality everybody's brought to me and my family from Tucson. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Do you fold your pizza?
I do, for sure.
That's how you know he should be the point guard, the leader of this program. My grandpa's from Port Jervis, and so I ever since I've been, you gotta fold it. There's only one. If you can't fold your pizza, it's not real pizza.
Yeah. Last question for you. Sorry, Jaden, but I just wanted to ask you this. I brought up how consistent you are and how it just seems like you get the same player night in and night out no matter what. But what's one aspect of your game that you're really looking to improve upon next season?
Definitely my consistency from 3, from free throw line, at the rim finishes, just my whole game being more consistent, putting up better numbers and, just my turnovers and everything. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Jaden Bradley, a great interview. We appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for sitting down, and we can't wait for next time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah, good meeting you.
I might be right back.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to figure out
what's
what's going on the Uno streets over there.
Yeah, the Uno streets are indeed popping to the point where you got KJ Lewis in the chat. So honestly, also I see that comment as well. We appreciate you as well, KJ Lewis, in the chat. If you are in this chat with KJ Lewis and Jaden Bradley, leave a like on this video. It has been a phenomenal day of interviews. Damon here at Arizona Media Day from the McKale Center, live in the best environment in the Big 12. These seats will be filled with Arizona Wildcat fans very soon. And in time, we talked about it with a couple guys. Time is flying.
Oh yeah.
Preseason is quickly approaching. We have, I think, a month to the day tomorrow that they play St. Mary's.
When Evan said it was May that we talked to him, I was like,
yeah, yikes. Yikes. Carry the 1, divide by 2, flip the 3. It's a whole...
The whole summer's gone.
Yeah, the whole summer is gone. In fact, we are in fall. We just don't know it because we live in Arizona.
Very true. Very true.
But yeah, I'm happy we got Jaden Bradley on the show.
I'm pumped
because
we got Jaden Bradley on the show.
Very pumped. We were supposed to have him on a couple weeks ago, and I'm very happy we got to talk to him about a wide variety of things, everything from consistency on the court to consistency in Uno off the court. What were some things you took away from that Jaden Bradley interview?
You know, man, just I feel like just the idea that like no one's satisfied. Like I tell him like, dude, you're like Mr. Consistency, and he's like, I got to work on my consistency.
Yeah, I almost laughed out loud when he said that. Not in a mean way, just like it's funny that you bring up you're one of the most consistent guys I've ever watched. And he's like, number one thing I got to.
And I don't think I'm exaggerating.
You're not.
I like truly last season every game like I would look at you and I'd go, 12 points and 5 assists from Jaden Bradley tonight with elite defense. It's like every game.
It was, I believe, on McKale Madness we would say like, every night Jaden Bradley's gonna show up, so it's Jaden Bradley and who.
Yeah.
Right, because we called him the metronome at times last year because he was so good at what he did, which was being consistent and helping this team stay on course, right? And so, yeah, when you're talking about Jaden Bradley, his consistency, he might not think it's up there with the best in the country, but we certainly do watching him. And if he's working on being even more consistent, watch out Big 12. You heard Tobe Awaka saying that he wants to be even more aggressive and assertive this upcoming year. And I'll say another thing. Watch out, Big 12, because that is terrifying.
Yeah.
I thought Tobe Awaka was assertive last year. And he's like, no, I want to be more assertive, tougher, stronger.
Well, what's funny about the Tobe Awaka portion of that as well is that he said, like, he mentioned to us, like, well, I didn't want to focus on my strengths. I wanted to focus on my weaknesses. But he's also like, one of my weaknesses is I'm not being, like, aggressive enough. And you're like, what? You got to be joking. Like, and I pray. I pray for the opposing defenses and opposing big men that have to match up with, the new, more physical, aggressive version of Tobe Awaka. What does that even look like?
Yeah, and I think we talked about Arizona.
That feels illegal.
It does feel illegal. And they're talking about not calling fouls at practice. The things they might be doing on the court might be illegal next year. Who knows? But, like, my biggest thing with the physicality of this upcoming year's team, I've been adamant about it all offseason. They're going to be the most physical team. I can't really estimate how physical Houston's going to be because it's we talk about it. It's Kelvin Sampson. It's jail ball. They're just doing everything they can. As Dwayne Aristode lets out an insane guttural yell. That was unbelievable.
Can I just say I love Anthony Delorso, and he is a sweet, kind man. I can't wait for him to play on this basketball team next year. That man needs to start. I talked to him for 5 minutes. I'm listening to him yell. I need Dwayne Aristode in the starting lineup.
Can I raise you a Kharchenkov? See, that's the thing, though, right? Because that's what we asked
death
Anthony
by
Delorso.
1,000 cuts.
Right, and that's what we asked Anthony Delorso is like, you have so many wings on this team that all have a great resume and they all have a great pitch to be the starting small forward or starting wing on this roster. And I think that when we're talking about, ways in which Arizona can just death by 1,000 cuts a team, and I talk about the physicality and them being up there with only Houston in the Big 12 physicality-wise, they might even be more physical than Houston.
They do have Tugler, who we all know is allowed to get away with murder.
Yeah.
On a basketball court, and refs allow it. So that does change the scope of things a little bit. Imagine if they let Tobe Awaka get away with the level of contact that Joseph Tugler is allowed to get away with.
You joke about Joseph Tugler getting away with murder. Tobe Awaka might actually kill somebody if he is not confined by the rules. Did you see Brayden Burries Muse in the chat said it earlier, like when Tobe Awaka sat down, I think the whole side of the screen just got vacuumed right here because of the mass that sat down.
Yeah.
Cohen, you took science classes in high school and middle school. What they teach you about gravity, when you have something big enough, right, sitting next to you, you're going to get gravitated over there. So I think if you see me and Damon during the interview with Tobe Awaka just doing this slowly over time, we're just revolving around Tobe Awaka.
Yeah, it's the gravitational pull. It happens to everybody. But Burries Muse asks here in the chat, what happened to Brayden Burries? Why isn't he out there? We are not exactly sure. Heard a small rumor about maybe he's just not feeling too hot today. So hopefully that is the case here. And we look forward to talking to Brayden Burries when we get the opportunity to in the future. I have gone up to him and shook his hand, Kevin, and told him we need him on the podcast. So
the handshake goes a long way these days,
Yes, it certainly does. At this point, I just want to know about this Uno game. Like, that's all I'm sitting here waiting for. Like, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Can I get in on this Uno game?
Seriously, like,
Let me in.
my numbers.
But look, we talk about, real quick side tangent. Our guy Derek Montilla of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast says when he's in that locker room, there are players being like, "Hey, you want to come play dominoes? You want to come play cards? You want to come do this?" Invite must have got lost in the mail, Jaden Bradley.
Good thing they're not asking us that here, because we'd be like, "Yeah, let's do a 2K tournament."
Yeah, Cohen, turn it off. Turn it off. We're gonna set it up right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and like I was saying earlier, this team and I think Kobe references it there in the chat. They are so damn locked in. You can see it in their eyes. When you look them in the eyes, you can see like, all right, Koa Peat's talking about Uno and 2K, but he really wants to be talking about pressing and rim pressure and going 94 feet and being super aggressive.
Well, that's why I asked him that question, because I'm just listening to the guy talk, and I'm like, he's all ball.
Yeah, he is.
He's all ball all the time. All he's talking about is, well, and Tommy and the guys, and I just work hard and I just want to win.
What game do you play?
Yeah,
2K.
Yeah.
2K.
What game do you play? The basketball one is the one that I typically play. I like to work on my sets. I like to run some plays. Like, you think Koa Peat's out there running plays on 2K?
No, by the way that he was described,
he's a
I'm not
cheeser.
gonna lie, I wouldn't want to play with Koa Peat either.
No,
it doesn't sound like he's very, great to play with. The dribblers, the dribble guys are insane.
Sounds like
people.
he's
They're crazy
cheesing.
people. They're crazy people.
Do you think Koa Peat? We should ask him this too. Do you think his player is nothing like his real life player?
If he's doing the dribbles, he's probably like a 2. I would assume he's like a 6'5".
He's making
6'6",
himself like a
2 guard.
playmaking point guard that's just taking people's ankles and shooting threes. It's just the opposite of what Koa Peat is as a player. That would be electric.
I stopped buying and playing 2Ks because the game just cheats, and I'm not, sinking $80. I don't got rev share, guys. I don't know if y'all know that, but I'm not sinking $80 into a game that's just gonna cheat.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. But
it'd be different if you were about to be in the game. Like that dude's gonna be in the game next year.
That's a good point. You can't be buns at the game when you're in it. You know what I mean? You got to be good and then just take advantage of players online when you're with yourself.
Yeah. Do you think Koa Peat is one of those guys who has like the blacked out tattoos, like head to toe, and like the biggest nose you can possibly make, like the thing that the cheesers do in the game?
Yeah. Just make like
afro,
like
colored
the
afro, 100%,
and like all blacked out tattoos and the brightest pink shoes and the most obnoxious emotes. And can we stop talking about 2K? I'm getting like re-traumatized.
Yeah, you're getting mad.
It's just you play 2K, you go online and it's lag, it's latency. You're talking about you're shooting, the bar has completed, and now your player does this. What are we talking about? I timed it perfectly 30 seconds to go offline, and now online we got latency. I have good internet. We are doing a basketball podcast here today. We're not doing a 2K podcast.
Brayden Burries though says that his player is Brayden Burries.
That'd be fun if they just were like, "Hey, I'm Koa and you're Brayden."
That would be pretty fun. Just like experience what it's like to be a power forward that can dunk all over.
It's like having someone draw you. Like imagine they're just like, "All right, so I'm gonna create Koa Peat, you're gonna create Brayden Burries, and we're just gonna come back together and see what you made." How's your memory of my face?
Yeah, Kylie, such a good point. And we were going to give him his plaudits at the end of the show before we wrapped up. But this man, Cohen Kinney, who has zero production experience, zero experience being back behind the laptop hitting buttons, and, what a just unbelievable job. This man, everything we task him with, he crushes. Just a killer, a true killer.
I mean, you're killing the idea that he's ever going to be humble again after this right now. But I will say Cohen does deserve a lot of plaudits, a round of applause, because the young man has stepped in and absolutely killed it. Like Damon said, with everything we ask him to do, he helps us with football content. He's out there doing everything.
Hey, Cohen, what are you doing after school on Wednesday?
Yeah, that homework assignment? Oh, it's due tonight. But there's a media day. You want to come out here? You want to help us with some interviews? Cohen is the best. Literally, like Damon alluded to, no experience doing what he's doing right now, and y'all didn't even notice.
No.
It could have been me back there. I don't know what that says about my job skills, but it could have been me back there. So shout out to Cohen. Shout out to Erica as well. Be looking forward to some very fun social clips. Find out who everybody's favorite NBA player of all time is on our TikTok, maybe. If you got one of those, AZ Wildcats Pod is the TikTok. So
I can't wait for Deli's Andrew Bogut answer. That's going to feed families. Just the most random, stiff big man in NBA history. Absolutely love it.
There was a guy on the Bulls that was, and I think his initials were LL.
Luke Longley.
I bet that's who he said.
Yeah.
That
maybe. That dude was pretty influential, I bet, on Australian basketball, given the fact that he was on the Bulls, and that was at the time when the Bulls were kind of taking over the world. But if you love this podcast, love this show that we've done, please leave a like on this video.
Maybe subscribe.
whatever. Subscribe, and of course, rate and review on your favorite podcast. Podio.
That's a cool like little thing you made there.
It kind of sounds like potty too
It
much.
does. There's a usage for it, I'm sure.
Find your favorite podcast app and rate and review and subscribe on there. Helps us out so much, everybody. We really appreciate it. Kevin, I do want to hold out for this Uno game, but I don't know like how realistic it really is.
I think Jaden Bradley is locked in on the idea of Uno, but the problem is he's too busy of a man right now.
Yeah,
to
like they
be
put
as
him on.
locked in.
He's talking to our guy Justin Spears right now, and
Oh, look at that! He's playing Uno during the interview. No, I'm just kidding. He's definitely listening to our guy Justin Spears. He's not on his phone right now.
Yes, and you of course will be able to hear all of that on Spears and Ali, I believe, probably in the upcoming rest of the week here. But
Can I real quick? Something just crossed my mind. Can I make a quick comment about KJ Lewis?
please,
This fan base, and I don't want to. I know we were the #1 KJ Lewis podcast while he was here in Tucson,
for sure.
but like rough exit, I'll say. Right, in terms of with the fan base, in a lot of ways, there was a minority of fans that were quite loud about the criticism of KJ Lewis. If that was really KJ Lewis, which by Jaden Bradley's reaction, it seems like it was.
I think it was.
I do as well, but you never know. And like, if he's really in that chat, what does that really say about what Tommy Lloyd has built here? You know what I mean?
Totally.
And what this locker room has like created with these relationships. You got guys like Dalen Terry, who is years removed from this program, only spreading the gospel of what Arizona basketball can do for you as a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
And I think having guys like KJ Lewis, who literally is with a different team right now. He's not in the NBA. He's not somewhere in Europe. He's not selling insurance somewhere. Like, he is an active basketball player right now for a different program in the country. And he's in our chat being like, yo, that's my guy, JB. Tell him about Uno. Let me know. And I think like that's kind
really
of
cool, man. And I think
it's something that Tommy Lloyd's accomplished here.
I think it speaks to Tommy Lloyd. I also think it speaks to KJ Lewis and just who he is as a person as well.
And that guy's leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Like the fact that they're, he's willing to hop on this video. I'm not even sure if he knew Jaden Bradley was going to be stepping on with us. Like, he might have just been clicking on the video.
To be honest, he might have been like, where the hell is my Uno playback? What is this guy doing? Just going through all the Arizona videos.
It's your turn, Jaden. But yeah, I think that does speak so highly of kind of everyone involved in this situation. And just, I certainly am rooting for KJ Lewis at Georgetown and hope that, he's that increased role is everything that, it could be and more. As Deli does the fake scream right now, I'm not sure that
is that allowed?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did anybody else not see that?
The air scream.
The air scream. I mean, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, it matters to me when I'm watching the commercial break and then they show me that. I'm gonna be like, I know for a fact he didn't.
Well, now all of us, all the real Arizona Wildcat diehards here know that is false.
Yeah.
That he did not really scream, and that everybody else did, and that ADO is saving his vocal cords for, I don't know, calling out sets and screens. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? But we appreciate everybody who is in this chat today. Please leave a like on this video. This was an absolute bucket list type of show for me and Kevin. I know that for a fact. And this was just so cool to be sitting here on the McKale Center floor, the place that, I think made Kevin fall in love with Arizona sports, the place that is, truly the, we're joking about it, but it's the mecca of sports here in Tucson. And this is, this is the spot. There's like an aura of being inside of here, looking at the jerseys on the rafters. And this has just been such a cool experience for both of us.
No, yeah. Like you said, bucket list item for me. I started I was already like a huge basketball fan when I got to Arizona, but like the real, because I'm from St. Louis, we don't have a team.
Yeah.
Right. So having a team and watching that team compete at the highest level and really having expectations year in, year out. And that's something that we didn't get to talk to Tommy Lloyd today because he wasn't here in attendance doing this kind of stuff. But if we did get a chance to talk to Tommy Lloyd, that's something I really wanted to talk about with him. Like, what is it like with your first head coaching job, being in a fan base that has such high expectations?
Yeah, dude.
And such a high level of history? It's not false expectations. You know what I mean? So
it's earned too because he's been so damn good.
Yeah, bucket list item, bucket list location for a live show, and hopefully we can just keep the hits coming. Ishmael Mahdi on the show tomorrow. Make sure to tune in for the leading rusher among all college football players in terms of single game performance. No one rushed more than Ishmael Mahdi so far this season.
Wow.
So we got the best rusher in the nation coming on the show tomorrow. That's a statistical fact that you can take to the bank. Maybe not. I don't know if that's real good currency, but yeah, bucket list item, bucket list week. Shout out to that guy behind us, Nate, killing it. Arizona Athletics as well. Leah literally read my mind, said in the chat, thank you to Arizona Athletics for making this happen. And thank you to each of you guys in the chat. Brayden Burries Muse said, best show yet. Keep it coming, guys. Keep cooking, actually, is what he said. Yeah, we literally, from the bottom of our hearts, like Damon said, bucket list item. We just want to give all the best information and coverage that we can about this great team to you at home. And that's literally our only sole mission, is to make an entertaining podcast that you also feel like you learned a little bit of something about the team afterwards. So thank you all for being a part of that today.
I'll never stop cooking, Kevin.
Nah.
Guy like me, I'm constantly cooking.
Only dog allowed in the kitchen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But appreciate everybody for being here today. This was so much fun. And like you said, thank you so much to Arizona Athletics. Thank you so much to Arizona Basketball in particular for allowing us to do this, for setting this whole thing up. But an absolute slam dunk. And yeah, we're pumped up about it.
And our camera has apparently died.
Yes.
So if you want to switch to that other camera, I can just lean over and outro this show right now. This has been the AZ Wildcats podcast live from the McKale Center, as you can see. And I'm going to switch seats because, you know, I'm a player on and off the court right now, and that's just how we rock here in Tucson. Like I said, AZ Wildcats podcast. You see the @ down there at the bottom right. PHNX_Wildcats on all our social media platforms except for TikTok, where it's AZ Wildcats pod. He is Damon Dog. Damon_DAWG on Twitter, not TikTok. I am Kevo Post. You can find me KEVOPOSTS on Twitter and TikTok, where I'm Kevo TikToks. And then our guy Cohen Kinney on Twitter, I believe. No underscore on that?
Nope.
COEINKINNEY, like the Mickey Mouse theme song in a lot of ways. Killing it behind the Mac for us.
I'm stealing that.
I love this show. I love this program. I love each and every one of you guys in the chat. And as always, folks, we're going to switch it around. Bear down.
And go Cats.
That's it.
We all